I think what you should do is start a new
It
thing
should be
right
open
now.
now. It's open now.
You think so? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'll check it now. Because we didn't do it right the first time. That kind of that. Oh, there we go. Hold on. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you do? Yeah, it's live now. What'd you do?
Something real simple over there because I got an overlay so I could see the
Okay.
talk show and the YouTube at the same time, and I had it covered over to the right, and it was covering the go live button.
Okay. 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 We good. We good now. There we go.
Yeah, I gotta close another window because the bit rate is going. I mean, the stream current bit rate is going down.
Okay. Give me one sec.
Boxing Lounge, how's it going? Appreciate you. Always have technical difficulties. It ain't help that I laid down and woke up later. Box Eye View, how's it going, my brother? Box Eye View in the house. Salute to E-Boxing Champions. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Yeah, it's a heavy
Go second.
delay though. It's a heavy delay with the YouTube. I don't think it ever been like this bad, but we'll work with
Well,
it.
remember the I don't know what you're talking about. The YouTube stream has to be delayed because it's we're recording live and then it's pushing to YouTube after. So
Okay,
depending on
you're
what
right.
if you're looking at the YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Whatever it's happening here, this is in real time.
yeah. They everybody say they can hear me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Box Eye View. He's in the house. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, that
You
belt
did.
looks sick, man.
Yeah, you did what Ash originally said. He said a boxer should be able to dominate casual. He said that's the way the game was set up. But people got in Ash ear. Now it's a PR driven thing. Yeah, it's a PR thing now. They going by old standards. They going by old rules. They saying that the game has to be casual heavy or a hybrid. Hybrid is always going to be casual. I'm not saying that myself. This is what I heard from developers. And when Ash was saying, "Yeah, I talked to EA and I talked to 2K," no, you didn't. You doing that? That's a personal attack because I always say that, and which I do. I got receipts. You know, I have no bad intentions towards Ash, but he's saying things that I know they're little nitpicks. They're like arrows darts being thrown at me. Me and the beast. The beast has his passion, and I have my passion. I'm not as outspoken as the beast. Um, yeah. Oh, we got AJ Pax in the house. He's my co-host. Hopefully, Leafy and other because I was supposed to have content creators on the show today as guests. So I hope they still come through and make their promise. They're going backwards, and they keep using that excuse that they keep using balance. That's the word they keep saying. See, from my education in psychology, you keep repeating certain words that that stays in a person's mind. Ash in that video, I think he said balance at least 10 times. So that means you're trying to hypnotize and put that in somebody's mind. Now, when you say balance in gaming, it's basically you want it to be a hybrid. You want it to be arcade and realistic. That's the balance that you're not saying, oh, we got to fix this or fix that. No, you want it balanced out. You want it to be a hybrid so you could draw the hardcore fans and the casual. If you really want true balance, why don't you have modes? They don't want modes in the game. They don't want a hardcore mode and a casual mode. And you could even have a hybrid mode. And they keep saying, that's hard to do. No, it's not. You're not hiring the right people. You know how many times I talked to developers that said he's not hiring the right people. And if you go on places like LinkedIn, or I forget the other job app, you can see the people that he's hiring. He's not hiring the right people. And then he got somebody that's in his ear watching and monitoring. Let me see. Box eye view. I understand that we want the most simulation boxing we can get, but I see from a business standpoint, it's a tougher sell. But I have the sentiment you guys have and want full sim, no hands being held. Yeah, but the way they keep framing it is they keep saying it from a business point of view. They going by the business point of view from the publisher, the investors. They're stuck on what gaming was 15 and 20 years ago. They're not stuck on what it is today. What sold the game, I keep repeating it. What sold the game was that video, the realistic looking video. People don't realize that. It ain't just like, oh, it was a casual game and it sold to the hardcore and the casual players. That video, that's what people wanted. That's how they got 1 million views. Why don't they get 1 million views now? Why don't 1 million people come to their other live streams and stuff? Do they got 1 million views on that creator event? No. People got to look at certain things. My thing, I watch patterns. I love patterns. What happened to the 1 million views for the creator event? They don't got it. They do not have it. Yeah, that's deception. But they got to keep changing certain words. The game was sold as a realistic sim boxing game. Then I constantly heard will. People don't like when I say will, but I don't say will that much. But now I am. Our so-called friendship, that's out the door. Will make sure he monitor what Ash says now. He basically still a content creator. He's basically still a community manager. He went and got the boxers. That's community manager stuff. CB Pull that did that. He's monitoring everything. That's not what Will's supposed to do. Let me see. Let me read what people are saying. Modes is what I agree with. Exactly. It's the modes. But they're not talking about that. They're basically saying, if we have modes, it's going to split the community. It's going to split the community anyway. Because
yeah, but when
don't...
we say
go ahead.
When we
go
say
ahead,
split the when we say split the community, what exactly? What are we splitting it into?
That's a good question. When they say splitting the community, they talking about the casual players and the hardcore players. They're going to split the numbers, the online numbers, I guess. But it's people that don't play online. It's people that's trying to force this game to be only online. And there's people that's, no matter what you say or do, is not going to be an online player. No matter how good the game is, because the online could be extremely toxic. Let me see. Boxing Lounge said Ash sold us Sim and the most advanced boxing game, removed Sim and left us with a broken, unfinished game. Desync and broken online. Then he says, still no effing clinch, ref. Those was taken out on purpose. Those things were taken out on purpose, and they're playing. They playing everybody. When you take out clinching, it makes the game people keep going. Like it makes it arcade. It makes people not like slow down the flow of the game. It keeps it arcade looking. The ref, it keeps it a game that's flow. It's an arcade. But the funniest thing is some of the most arcade games have referees in the ring. So their thing is they're literally trying to, they in front of your face, right in front of your eyes. They want the game to be arcade. Those are things that's like even Box Eye View can agree with me. When you clinch, you slow down the game. But a realistic a person that knows the sport knows that you don't over clinch. You just stop a person, make them reset. But they don't know that. Some of them so-called boxing fans, they don't know that when you clinch, you make your opponent reset. It will stop. Clinching will stop the spamming. They want people to spam. When y'all keep saying it's too much spamming in the game, blame it on Steel City. That is a design flaw that they intentionally left in there. It's because there's no referee. Referee will warn you or he will break you, and that stops the so-called spamming. And when they stop inside fighting, that would have stopped the spamming somewhat.
Yeah, but
Esports says
when you
same
say
thing. All right, go ahead.
when you say blame it on the CSI, that's one aspect of it, right? Can we blame it on the participation group?
No, I blame it. You can blame them, but I blame it on the developers because, like, when they say, like Ash was saying, he said it in an interview. It made me kind of mad. He said, "We know the game is supposed to be boxing, and you got to play it a certain way for you to get realistic boxing. But there are not mechanics in the game for there to be realistic boxing. You got some people
Yeah,
that
but
may be able to do it." All right, what you saying?
yeah, but when Ash said that too, that's what you call like a loaded question, or like you're kind
Yeah.
of you're leading the crowd. It's a
Yup.
question it was given in order to give a close-ended answer. So the whole idea is that if you play it the right way, meaning that okay, if you don't play like all the people randomly who you run in there and they're just running around and trying to break the system, right? If you play it the right way, well, the thing is this: in order to play it the right way, that means you have to sign up you have to play league play all the time. You have to go out the way. You got to go sign up for the league. But the question is, how do you take what's going on in the league and then implement it back in the game?
Exactly.
That's the thing. So like, it's a loaded question. It's almost like you're going to court. It's like you're leading the witness. You're leading a group of 10 people to give the answer he want. He's steering you to that answer.
He is. He really is. Let me see. Let me read something so people don't feel left out. Let me see. E-boxing champion say his name. Different modes mean they have to double down the work. Yeah and no. For one, Ash has the money to get more developers. For one, the money that he's, no disrespect to the content creators. I'm just saying in general. He could have used money that he's spending on stuff, to me, relevant stuff at this time to get the developers. Once you get the team made, then they worry about everything else. It's a lot of lot of developers on his team that's missing that he really needs. And nobody's telling them that. When you say you talk to EA and 2K, why didn't you tell them what kind of developers you need? What developers do I need to make sure this game be what I need? You're not asking those questions. You're not asking the question. You could tell because when you hiring, I see all your hires.
Yeah,
I
but
know y'all might
you know
block
why
me
they're
after.
yeah, but they're not asking the questions because it goes back. So when I say participation group, I'm talking about the 10 content creators who are part of the league who got selected to go to the Vegas. I see that as a focus group. They were the 10 selected in order to give the feedback for the entire community. If I was to base the community size, how much? I think the last time I checked, the community size was what 1.5 million copies sold. When you take 10 and you divide it into 1.5 million, that gives you 0.00067%. Not even 1% of the community feedback is going to CSI to hear what our voices are like. What's everyone's voices? We're talking about less than 1%. And then on top of that, if you look at the 10 people who are selected for that focus group, there's only one boxer. So that's even lower. That even gives you less than 0.0067%. That's even further. You're not getting the feedback. But so I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, this is something that they did strategically too. Box Out View, don't take this as a disrespect to you, not at all. Because you're like you're humble. And that's what they thought I was, like, real humble. They picked Box Out View. Yeah, he's a good box, but you should have teamed him up with another boxer or real big boxing fan. Because a lot of those people that they sent, I say like 5 or 6, that was their first boxing event. And they're like, wow, it was an experience and I want to try boxing. Now, that right there says a lot. Now but you're speaking for the whole community. Boxers don't even talk about this game. I keep saying that boxers don't talk about it. With Fight Night, even though it had its flaws and stuff, boxers were talking about it. I remember when what about 10 years ago, when there's a big push for EA to make a game. All these boxers, all these promoters, everybody, they worked on that post. And I could pull it up if I could find it still on Twitter. But when Teofimo Lopez, he responded on it and stuff like that, they wanted the game, they wanted a realistic boxing game because they're like, EA can go toward that vision. But the thing is, boxers and boxing fans have to be more outspoken, because the casual fans, they're not going to be outspoken. They're going to ride it out and then leave. They're not going to stay with the game that long. And that's a fact. Why didn't Ash or Will or anybody ask that question? They should know that casual fans do not stay with a boxing game that long. They may come back later on, but your game will die, especially as an indie company. No, you're not an indie company, a AAA. I say Still City's a AAA company because they got 3 buildings. 3 buildings, and they have a staff that's over 70. And they made one over 1.7, whatever. They sold that many. You're no longer an indie company. So my thing is, it's like really getting annoyed. Hold on, let me read some of these because I don't want the people to feel left out. The first ESBC trailer was what got everybody interested. Exactly. It was no arcade in the game. But it seemed like completely different game now. It is. And that's by design. Somebody in the ear. Let me see. Doesn't work online. I'm not an online player, and I haven't played a game in a while, so I just got to go by what you say, Boxing Lounge. How about you, AJ Pax? Did you have you been playing online?
Yeah, man. For Undisputed? Yeah, I
Yeah.
played online. I played career mode. And also too, I just started playing bloody knuckle boxing. That is light years ahead than Undisputed in terms of being a boxing sim. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You're talking
Yeah,
about I couldn't believe this guy, one guy by himself. Like, it tells you the vision right there. He bloody knuckle, man. The vision is to build a sim boxing game. And now that I have something to compare it to, when I see Undisputed, like, I know you guys were playing it from ESBC days, but man, I'm impressed, man. Bloody knuckle boxing. Like, we're talking about all the different modes. The guy has all the modes, and he's a one man indie
yeah,
developer, man. You know what pissed me
yeah,
off, man? Like, he just came out with an update, so the whole game changed. But it's really bad when you have guys like JMMA. I saw a video JMA posted about bloody knuckle boxing when he wrote it off about 1 year ago. He has a video out there saying it's a scam. So sometimes it makes you wonder, like, are the content creators, are they actually are they working, are they like under contract with Steel City for them to go and try to, you're trying to say that Undisputed is the only sim boxing when it's an arcade fighter. I'm in shock right now what I'm seeing for bloody knuckle boxing. If that guy could if he could get some investors, oh my god.
yeah, exactly.
Like, for fuck, you could pivot. You could pivot in bloody knuckle boxing. You can even pivot and throw your hook at the same time. You can rotate into your fucking punches, man. And this is a fucking a one-man indie developer did that. I couldn't believe it. And it's being dissed by Undisputed content creators saying it's a scam. Like, well, it's like, man, politics.
Yeah. And my thing is, he's putting in everything that they saying is not possible to do. Even Leafy put in a couple of things that they're saying not possible to do. They're going off of what they feel should be in the game. And
Freddie G. Hey, Freddie G, if you say Bloody Knuckles is trash for 2025, then you like arcade fighters. As far as I'm concerned, Undisputed is no different than playing Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z getting boxing licenses, so it represents the boxers. Then, man, anyone who says Bloody Knuckles trash, you're a fucking idiot.
You know what? What's going on? He's going by graphics. We're not going about graphics, so that proves that you don't care about the boxing mechanics and Undisputed. You care about the graphics more than anything. Bloody Knuckles has a lot. What you saying?
Go on. No, go on. Keep on going.
Yeah, Undisputed. It doesn't have a lot of boxing things in. Oh, my man, Papanosis. What's up, Pap? Give me a second. I'm answering a couple of questions on YouTube.
Hey, you know what's funny too? One of the modes in Bloody Knuckles, you could do focus bits. I couldn't believe it.
And that's stuff like that is needed in the game. Let me see. May said
you could do some virtual focus bits and work on your combinations. You can't do that in Undisputed.
Yeah, people going see graphics. No matter how bad a game is, if the graphics good, you'll get a person like a child. You know how a balloon be red or something that's pretty and it attracts the kid. But adult, not disrespecting anybody, but adult, they know there's a problem. They see the things.
Yo, Freddie G, I don't understand. Why are you so hard to make a comparison to a football game? You can't make any comparisons within the boxing genre game, so you jump over to football. Next, you'll jump the NBA. Next, you'll jump the hockey. Like, fuck.
Why he jump? What did he say? I can't see it. What did he say about football?
He's all fucking butthurt, man, because he wants to say Bloody Knuckles garbage.
But yeah, I would play Maximum. Madden is trash. See, you going by the that's why EA would somewhat do better, no matter what they give you. You're going by the brand and things like that. Yeah, Pat. What's up, Pat?
What's good, Porter?
Yo,
What's
Papa,
good,
yo.
AJ
Oh
Pat?
yeah, okay, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I hear you. It's all good, man.
Yeah, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I can hear you.
Hold on a second. Because the thing is, it's kind of raining outside out here. So my bad.
I can hear it.
Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear the rain.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're driving on the highway or something.
No, I'm driving. I'm already about to pull up to my house.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
You doing the what's his name? Showbiz the dope driving in his car while he talking on the internet.
But I say like this, I was doing that before showbiz, so from the older days.
Oh yeah, they be now this somebody that could say it. They be acting like showbiz been talking about a boxing game longer than we were. We
Nah.
ain't even know nothing about no showbiz.
I'm gonna tell you
I
like
know
this.
it's,
Where was showbiz and Boxing Fanatical and them boys when the Fight Night forums was around?
they wasn't. I didn't. None of them know me.
None of them weren't around. None of them
I
boys.
thought Fight Night Finest. That name been around for a while too. But when you see his video, he looked like a young boy. I thought he was 16. I was like, you ain't the Fight Night Finest. I know. I was
Exactly.
like, what? Yeah, you remember that name, right?
Who? What was the name?
Fight Night Finest. We used to see it in the
I
forums.
I,
I
I know
think
that
I
name
do
from Fight Night
remember that name.
Champions.
I
Yeah.
do. I think I do remember that name, if I'm not mistaken. I do remember Gotti Magnum.
Oh, you remembered his name. That's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find him. Because
Yeah, like
he was Gotti
he was the king
Magnum
of the
was my
memes and everything.
yeah, Gotti Magnum was my Leafy. That was he was always protecting me. And he was talking good for me. Even remember when they banned me, Gotti Magnum did a whole protest for me.
I remember that too.
He,
He was the king of the memes, and then they banned him for the memes. He made memes
yeah,
popping.
yeah. They got mad at they was like because I was as a moderator, a senior moderator and stuff like that. EA used to, like Brizzle them, they didn't really care. Because to Brizzle, that's more work for him. Brizzle wanted the hardcore game. Remember I used to talk about that? He wanted
Yeah,
the
I remember,
hardcore game, but it
and I
was
remember
people
that we got
above
him on the
him.
show too.
Yeah.
Yo, Paul, let me
Yeah.
let me ask you this in terms of Undisputed. At any
Okay.
point, did they have any pivot system?
I think in the if I could remember, I think in the beta, in the betas, I think they had
In the
some like
betas?
yeah, well, it looked like the movement, the foot movement
Well,
made it seem like it was a pivot system, but not like the
well,
way Bloody Knuckles.
no, okay, because the moment if you did see, I never got this, I never got to play SBC, but if you did see pivoting and at the moment you saw them remove it, that's the moment it became an arcade game, or they were going Arcade Fighter for the casual.
Jay MMA here. Jay, why you ain't come on the talk show? I ain't talking about on the YouTube, my talk show. I want them to hear your voice and you know. All right, that's your choice, Freddie G. But I like the mechanics. I like the mechanics. I like what I see, what it could be.
Yo,
Always
yo,
look at
Freddie
some.
G, why don't you join the broadcast instead of typing? Because that's a lot of stuff you have to type. Come in the broadcast and express it.
Yeah,
If you're
most
saying
definitely.
bloody knuckles is bullshit in terms of being a true boxing sim, come on the show.
Hold on, bloody. I mean, Freddie
Because you're
G
talking
said bloody
because
knuckles
you're
is
talking
cheap.
about Madden versus Axe and all kind of shit.
He said he was a national Golden Glove winner. That game is. You said you're a national Golden Gloves. Where was the Golden Gloves that you won at? Because now I got to
Yeah.
start reaching out to my people. I went to the Nationals. I was a Golden Glove champ 3 times. Do you know what Diamond Gloves is, Freddie G? Do you know what the diamond gloves is, Freddie J? I won that 3
Nah,
times.
Freddie,
Do you know what
Freddie G's lying. Yo, he's lying, man. If he
I'm
if he
trying to
was a
figure
if
it
he
out.
actually had that level of boxing
He would
and
have been
he's saying
talking
this
about
about
that.
bloody knuckle, he's lying. He's fucking
But he
lying.
would have been talking about it. All right. Do you know what the state championships is? I do. I got 3 belts for the state championships. That's in the amateurs. I remember when I fought a guy that was Hassan Rahman teammate. I stopped him. Hassan Rahman was actually in his corner coaching him. I stopped him. So when you're like throwing stuff up there like that, what are you saying? I know boxing. I train people.
Nah, Freddie G, no one's wilding out. We're asking you to come on the show so you could express your opinion, but you don't want to come on. You want to sit there just type.
Any of y'all. What you saying? I'm cold blooded. Let me
Like
see. Tomorrow morning, brothers, I want to sift through some old early access video. Please do. Please do. Because I think some people, but I think y'all looking for things to help Steel City instead of help the community.
It helps Steel City. Yo, Freddie G. Freddie G, the focus group is only 10 max. They ain't looking for 11 person.
No, my thing is, y'all going by what they saying, and I'm going by my spirits. They're telling you what they want. It's called PR. They're telling you what they want you to accept. When the game was first made, I was talking to Brian Brizzle Hayes. Do you know who that is? No, you don't. Because y'all would not be keep throwing things at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. Brizzle even was like shocked. He said, yo, this game is going to be what it's going to do good, and it's going to give us open the door for us to start working on a fight night immediately. But then Steel City got the million views. EA saw that. Y'all guessing. I know. EA saw that. They said, all right, let's see how they do after launch. After launch, that's when things start spiraling down. Now EA said we can hold off a little more, if at all. People keep making up their own thing. Then they say, "Po, you just making up stuff." Why? What do I benefit? What, a better game? I'm not trying to get no trips or no merch or anything, even though Ash could give me my black shirt because he's not putting me in the game because I'm being outspoken. Ash promised to scam me into the game. But I don't care about all that. See, that's the thing, the difference about me and certain people. And no diss to nobody. I'm just saying in general. I don't want you to baby me and give me things hoping that I change. EA tried it. It didn't work.
Hey, Poe, I just saw this. Poe, I just saw Boxing Lounge says he does not. He's here. He doesn't want another. Let me see here. I'm tired of hearing this new Fight Night rumor. You know what, man? Every time I think about Fight Night now, I don't want another Fight Night because reality is, if you get another Fight Night, you're gonna get another boxing arcade game. That's one. But two, Undisputed is technically a ripoff of Fight Night. So you're getting. We already got Fight Night. We got Fight Night, but with no story mode. We got Fight Night with no strip down, with no modes, nothing.
No real creation modes, nothing like that.
And plus, creation is Undisputed too. On top of that,
yeah.
Hey, if anything, if we were to get a Fight Night 2, Fight Night Champion 2, all it would have been is what you saw. We got the new footwork that Undisputed has. That would have been the upgrade.
Oh, but I would like to add something right now. As far as if they ever do make a new Fight Night, they better go 100% with all of our wishes. Because I remember when Fight Night Round 4 dropped and it flopped, they freaking begged for our ultimate wish list. We provided that, and they only used 2% of our wish list, like 2% milk.
So let me get a understand. Hold up, I'm gonna try to get an understanding because they're saying that So I'm Cold Blooded is a boxer too. So it was two boxers there. No, I'm trying to understand. Are you a boxer too? I'm Cold Blooded. I'm not. I thought I heard something like that, but I'm not sure. I ain't post yet. All right, what you were saying?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying if Fight Night ever comes out with a new Fight Night, they better go 100% with our wishes. Cause I remember when Fight Night Round 4 flopped, they begged for our ultimate wish list. We provided that to them, and then when Fight Night Champion dropped, they only used 2% of our wishes, like 2% milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? They won't call Fight Night Champion then. They can't. It'll have to be something. It'll have to be named. If you have to make a sim boxing game, they have to give it a completely different name.
Exactly.
Same thing with Undisputed.
You can still use.
If you go from Undisputed
think
to Undisputed 2, expect the arcade fighter again. This is going to be the same thing.
Yeah,
I
it
think
seems like they
EA can
warming us
still use
up.
the Fight Night tag. I think.
They're gonna use it.
Sorry.
Yeah, that
Personally-
Fight Night, and then add something else on the end.
Yeah, like Fight Night Reborn or Fight Night New Legacy or something like that. Because you don't want it to be like a same product. Like if you call it Round 5 or Champion 2, those names kind of have like an arcade history behind them. So they should call it something else, like Fight Night Reborn or Fight Night Legacy if they want to use like the old boxers in your game. But
well,
I hope
Leafy,
they go
it's
full realism.
Leafy. You called it what? Like you said it was like a history behind it, right? Look at it more as it's the brand. It's the brand behind it. Like if you buy Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is always going to taste like Coca-Cola. It's a brand.
Yeah.
When Coca-Cola wants to have some kind of bullshit, okay, we'll have Cherry Coke. Well, actually, Cherry Coke's a little thing. We'll have Crystal Pepsi, Crystal Coke, and shit like that. That's when they go away from the traditional Coke.
Yeah, fast.
Undisputed's brand is an arcade fighter. What they want to kind of label as a hybrid. To get away with it, to say, okay, if it's a hybrid, okay, we have a little bit of sim in it, you know.
All right, let me see.
Yeah. And if they went back to a hybrid, they could call it like Fight Night Champion 2, because Champion's a hybrid.
Never. That's what I'm saying. They would Fight Night Champion. The brand of Fight Night Champion is just it's the same shit as Undisputed. They have to go clean slate.
Yeah.
Clean slate.
Hold up, AJ
So do you
Pax.
think they should-
Could you?
Sorry.
Hold up, give me a second. AJ Pax, could you post a link to get in the talk show for
The
JMMA? Want to come on? I don't.
Nice.
When I post a link,
Who is on his who has him on Discord? The fastest way is to send it to him on Discord.
the fastest way to send them on is
Actually,
on Discord.
Actually, is he part of your server? Let me see something there. If he's on your server, I'll just post it in the general then.
Yeah, post it in the
He's
YouTube.
He's in the wish list.
In the general.
Damon AYT.
Okay, hold on. Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can find it.
All right. Why you doing that? Who's talking? Leafy, that was you talking?
I think I was. Yeah, I think I was like trying to like talk about like EA and Fight Night because we brought up like the point. JFAX brought up the point of it having like a history, or like we both brought it up. I started it, and then he kind of kept helping with the conversation. But I think if EA makes a new boxing game, do you think they should call it something else, like not Fight Night, or should they stick with like the Fight Night name since that's like a huge name?
But that goes back to my thing. It has to be because Fight Night is the brand of Fight Night is an arcade fighter. You got to go with a different name.
Yeah, like the jump from Knockout Kings to Fight Night. They'd have to make like another jump. But I think calling it Fight Night wouldn't be too bad since people know about the game and people know what Fight Night is. So if they heard like a new Fight Night is out and they're like, oh, I remember this game. But, you know, it could be either or. It'd be probably better if they called it Fight Night, or it'd be probably better if they called it something else.
Jay, it's posted in the shoe chat. You're on the shoot out. It's also posted on the Discord in the general discussion. You'll see the link.
All right, yeah. So people's keep Dad, it's so much to unpack now that I got people here. It like messed up my script that I was gonna go through. But oh, he said blooded too. But my thing is when I keep hearing people saying their accolades, then they trying to offshoot mine. If you saying you won 1 of something and I won 10 of something, what actually makes a difference? We both should be talking boxing. We should be talking what the game should be. And they keep saying what is fun. Boxing is fun to a boxer. When I used to go to these events, it was fun to me. I used to love going to boxing events until my trainers passed away. Once they passed away, I didn't go. I could go like if there's boxing matches in Newark, I could go for free. Because I know the commissioner, Larry Hadzi. Me and his son, I know all his kids and everything. I could go for free. And I'm pretty sure when it's in Madison Square Garden, I could get in for free. Because they could vouch for me. You think guys like Shannon Briggs paid to going through no fights? No. Unless he wants to.
Paul, I think all the discussion right now with Undisputed revolves around desync. That's all it is right now. The two communities is desync versus who wants boxing sim gameplay. And you know what the issue is? The whole discussion with desync is that because of the desync, oh man, they're not. There's no point of coding this. There's no point of coding this because we need to fix desync. So the thing is, until the desync is fixed 100%, the game cannot go beyond what it is right now, and I think that's one of the narratives. Like for example, we go back to the whole manual blocking. The desync community doesn't want the manual blocking. You know what I mean? Because you have to fix desync first. But you know what my confusion about it is really the whole desync argument coming down to does CSA have the time or the resources to go ahead and program?
They have the money,
dude.
They have the money. That's what they keep making us believe. They keep saying they don't.
No, well, here's the thing: the manual blocking. Do they have to go and program that into the game, or is it just a feature that they don't want, or is it just a feature that's been hidden or blocked? That's what I don't understand right now.
Yeah, it's basically what I'm saying is certain things that they took out. It helps with the so-called balancing. When they keep saying balancing, I'm gonna keep saying it. When they keep saying balancing, that in my mind it triggers, hybrid. You want a hybrid. They keep saying balancing, but you're never going to get it right. If you talk to EA developers or 2K developers, you'll know that balancing always going to lean towards arcade. All right, we got a guess. Let me see what it is.
So hold on. So error.
Oh man, hold on. Intalkable. Please tell me that ain't you that's in the arguing with me in the YouTube. Intalkable, you gotta unmute yourself. All right. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Is that you in the YouTube arguing with me?
Nah, bro, you don't recognize his name, bro.
All right.
It's cold-blooded,
so
bro.
you know. Now this is one of the OGs that
so hold
was
on.
with
Exactly.
me.
Listen, that's why I came in here on this name because I knew you would recognize this name. I've been around for a minute, bro.
Yeah, been around for I don't want to say how long, but yeah, he's been around for a long time.
But I knew you don't watch my content, bro. So I knew you didn't know who I was. I actually revealed it in my last video, but now you know who Cold Blooded is, bro.
All right, now I know who you are. Now I could kind of Yeah, but we still beefing about something. What you
Oh yeah,
talking
you
about?
already know. Yeah.
But you know how strong-willed I am. You know from the EA days.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, and I stayed talking to Brizzle and stuff when Ash say certain things. I'm like, are you really talking to EA and 2K? That sound like a good PR move, but are you really? Because me, I'm still talking to these EA and 2K guys. And people like, I'm like, if you want receipts, I can give them to you. But then that's bad on me showing conversations that I was having in private. Like I got an EA developer, he asked me to be on the show. But what happened is I have it's like they got a wanted sign on the wall at EA, like, no, don't talk to Poe because he's gonna ask you questions you're gonna say things that you don't supposed to say. And he said that's what he's trying to get through right now. He's trying to get through the paper. They gotta watch my videos, they gotta watch my posts when they can and stuff. So that's what he's waiting for. So I'm not gonna get that interview. I'm not gonna get that interview. If y'all, if people don't believe
Poe,
me, all right, go ahead.
Poe, so let's go back to desync. Let's go back to desync. Is the reason why we don't have manual blocking because of desync?
I think we don't have manual blocking because they didn't want to put it in there.
Yeah, but is it a matter that is it because they can't? Is it a net code issue then? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Or is it there, but they just don't want nobody to access it? That's what nobody's really saying because I'm going cold blooded. Now that you're here, right? You were at that Vegas meetup, and those kind of discussions came out, I guess, right?
Yeah, 100%. We harped on manual blocking for a long time. Actually, the interview, there's no footage of it, so I'll have to address it in my video. The interview closed, the discussion closed with me closing it on who they should be reaching out to with the issue with not manual blocking, but with desync and so on and so forth, because I understand why there's desync. So, I mean, there is manual blocking in the game to an extent. You go into simulation mode offline, you can manually block. The problem is the game is so heavily physics-based that there's desync online because they use dynamic physics. Because they use dynamic physics and it's peer-to-peer instead of a dedicated server, you have to cut manual blocking off online. Otherwise, the desync would be through the roof. That's why it's on offline instead of online.
So if they were to get dedicated,
if they had dedicated servers, it would help us.
Servers, would that resolve it?
It would damn near fix the problem. But therein lies another issue on top of that. If you understand Unity Engine, so I'm not a game developer, but I've done like extensive homework on this. So the Unity engine, their physics engine is something called rigid body. Don't worry about what that is. That's just whatever they use for their physics. You can't apply their rigid body physics onto a dedicated server. So the best way I can describe this, and I'm going to try to do it in the video, and hopefully it works for everybody. The best way I can describe this is, if I throw a paper in the air right now, it's gonna do a whole bunch of different things before it hits the ground, right? If you do the same thing, it's gonna do a crap ton of different shit before it hits the ground. Now, the difference is our papers are going to fall differently. The only way I know how yours fell is if we threw our papers in the air in the same room together. Otherwise, I don't see what you see. That's how dynamic physics works. So because the game was so heavily physics-based, every time you threw a punch, it was going to look different on your screen than it was on my screen because the client is hosting the physics. They have to put the physics portion of the game on a dedicated server so that it's synchronized between both our screens. You cannot do that with Unity Engine. You can do it with Unreal Engine. That's why they want to switch engines.
But what is the middle software right now? In terms of, okay, they're using peer-to-peer. What are they using right now? I read somewhere, or somebody told me it was Microsoft PlayFab.
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I just know that they want to go with the Unreal Engine, and I know why. Because so there isn't a video game on the market. There's not a single online game right now, multiplayer, that uses dynamic physics. That is a actual fact, with the exception of two games. Undisputed, which is on Unity, and it's broken with these things. It was way more broken during early access before they started to can a lot of the animations. And the other game is a shooting game called The Finals, which is on Unreal Engine 5. The reason for that is because you cannot, you literally cannot do dynamic. Keyword is dynamic, because physics alter. Like, a lot of games use physics, but very few games use dynamic physics online. The caveat is that the dudes at Embark Studios who make the game called The Finals, they figured out how to make this shit work online. And I employed Ash. I said, yo, y'all need to reach out to Embark Studios, because even if you switch to Unreal Engine, what they're gonna do is, when you go to Unreal Engine, everything that's physics based is on something called Chaos. That's what they call their physics base. Chaos has its own server. So you pay Epic for the Unreal portion of the physics on the server, so that we have clearer synchronization across our screens. The problem is that's going to use so much bandwidth between you and I every time that we throw a punch that is going to create lag issues, rubber banding, and so on and so forth. So even if they switch to Unreal, they still need a dedicated server to host us so that we're in an equal playing field. They don't understand that. So even if they switch the engine tomorrow, it would still be issues, bro.
But you're saying that the play service, then the multiplayer service, it's designed specifically to work with Unreal Engine. It's like it's optimized. Then it's optimized to work with Unreal Engine.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so here's the thing that I want to know. Then
what I'm talking about.
Okay, so here's the thing now. Going back to Unity, seeing this game's on Unity, what play service is optimized to play with Unity?
I believe Microsoft.
Because okay, so from what I understand, they're using Microsoft peer-to-peer, Microsoft whatever it's called, PlayFab peer-to-peer service, right? Then Microsoft has their multiplayer service. So from what I'm gathering, then they've tested it, the next level up, which is the Microsoft PlayFab multiplayer service, and they already discovered that this thing can work.
Because
it's not optimized, or it is optimized, right?
So I'll say this off the rip. I've always thought Undisputed was a poorly optimized game from early access. I remember I had just built a computer and I loaded up early access, and I was like, damn, this ain't running like my computer supposed to run this thing. It's always been poorly optimized. And there's no shade at them, because Capcom has a history for poorly optimizing games, and they're juggernauts. So it's no shade on them. But like I said, it comes down to the engine. Unity has no way of hosting Rigid Body on a dedicated server, and Rigid Body is their equivalent of the Chaos engine on Unreal. They have no way of hosting that on a dedicated server. So until they actually change engines, we're just not. There is an alternative to changing engines, though, and they've actually already been doing it. You have to have everything as a canned animation, right? The reason Street Fighter, the reason all those fighting games work with no desync is because there's no physics. There's all canned animations. If you add a canned animation to everything in the game, there won't be any desync.
It'll look more like clipping then.
Yeah, it'll look like clipping.
Hold on.
Like when you clip it to glitch it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me say something. A lot of this, I know they're gonna tell you what they want you to know.
So this isn't something they told me, brother.
I know. Hold on. I understand that, but my thing is, because when I'm talking to people, because my thing, I want to prove myself wrong, and I want to prove them wrong. So I start asking questions, because if you be a friend of mine on LinkedIn, I'm asking these questions day in and day out. It's part of it. It's part of development, their development, because the ESBC version, it wasn't doing as much as it's doing now. Now they're taking the physics out and all that. It's games that have physics. What's called Warframe? I don't know if you're familiar with Warframe.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's peer-to-peer. It's peer-to-peer. And it has over 1 million people playing every day. So I'm like, all right, go ahead.
Warframe isn't dynamic physics based stuff, not online. That's the big difference. Like I said, there's only 2 games that are executing dynamic physics, and dynamic physics pretty much ensure that no things will happen twice the same way. Like if I play Battlefield 6 right now, Battlefield 6, there's multiple, you can break down a building, so on and so forth. The difference between Battlefield 6 and something that is dynamic, like the game I mentioned called The Finals, is that building I blow up in Battlefield is going to crumble the same exact way every single time. It's going to make the same pile. It's going to make the same explosion. It's canned. It's pre-baked. The Finals, every time I blow a building up, it's going to do something different. So that's the difference right there. So when the physics portion of your game is client side, then you are having different results on your screen than I am having because we don't have pre-baked animations. And that's what creates desync.
Yeah. I never like desync wasn't like a really a huge topic.
It was huge in early access. Once they went online with it, bro, remember we had to use Parsec to even have a good fight because we were seeing 2 different things on the screen. And that's when the game was heavily on the physics side. So they started removing the physics little by little to try to fix it before they release it on the console or whatever. Now I understand why that would be the case. I think console was always going to run a little better than the PC version just because everybody's on the same machine. Whereas on a computer, everybody got different rigs. My frames ain't the same as yours. My graphics aren't the same as yours, so on and so forth. So then it really muddies the waters even more.
Yeah. So
I think
Yo, but Cold Blooded, what was the name of that game you said that they figured out how to handle the randomness of physics?
The Finals. I play the Finals heavy, bro. It's probably my favorite shooter out right now. It's called the Finals. And when you see what they've done with their physics engine, bro, it's phenomenal. Yeah, it's and they're old EA developers, bro. They left DICE and made their own little studio, and they killing it right now, bro. And so when we finished the discussion with Ash, so the way that went was I had my hand raised multiple times. I couldn't really get much in. And toward the end, I was like, yo, question. Are you familiar with Embark Studios? And to which Ash was like, nah. And I was like, okay, the reason I asked is because you mentioned you've been reaching out to EA. You mentioned you've been reaching out to 2K. And that makes sense. They make sports games. EA still in the combat sports genre. But they're not doing dynamic physics in their game. At that point, I broke down what I know about their physics engine, to which he agreed. And then I was like, well, there was a game called The Finals, the one in its infancy, and had the same exact issues. And this is what they did to fix it. And I broke it all down to him. Once I mentioned Unreal Engine, the look on Ash's face was like, yeah, that's exactly why we're trying to switch over. and I understood it. I completely understood it. And there are videos of guys using Unreal Engine, using physics, and trying to show you how desync is happening with physics when you try to do it online, and how they fix it with Unreal. It's like the click of a button and it fixes it. It's so seamless and easy to fix with the Unreal Engine. That's why they want to switch.
Yeah, my question to you, do you think a lot of what Ash was saying was PR? You think he was being truthful?
So I said something that stumped him, and I didn't know how to take it. So there were some answers he gave that I thought were 100% like on the PR side, but then there was stuff that I thought was genuine too, because it makes sense. Like he gave answers that you would expect from somebody who's trying to make money. Like when he mentioned how if the game was the way he wanted it, only 5 people would play it. Yeah, a businessman is going to say that.
That's a PR too.
100%. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's 100%.
You know that's Will, right? That's Will, because he said that before. He literally said that in a what was it, a round table or something? That's Will. And I hate that I brought Will on board. I introduced him. I really hate that. I'm like, yo.
But you know, like, a lot of times when you sit in front of like not just bosses, but like people in general who were involved in the creation of something or creating something, they don't like really doing the work so much as they like somebody else to do the work for them and then say that they did the work. You know what I mean? So when I brought up blocking, for example, the issue that I had with blocking, the little nuances of it, I told them that I think it should be depleting the moment I hit the button. so that it forces people to let go of it more often and have to focus on the nuances. I said an alternative to that would be that if they made the feint trick the block so that the feint actually served a more valuable purpose than just being visual. And to that, he didn't really have an answer. He was just like, "Oh, thank you for that." You know what I mean? So like, it wouldn't shock me if I saw that in the next iteration of the game as a fix to the blocking issue, because these guys, bosses, like to hear the problem and the solution for the problem, and then they'll tell you they made up a solution. So I didn't just give him the problem; I gave him the answer to it as well.
Yeah. So with Ash, it's like he really don't own the game anymore, like everybody think he does. Because when you got publishers and he got 4 investors. Everybody keeps saying 3, but what's called is a investor too, the boxer. I don't know why I'm keep forgetting his name, but he's a investor too. So he keeps saying certain things that he got to do to please the investors. A lot of times you got to speak up, because Ash, when we talked, Ash was saying that he was going to sign a contract that he's keep his creative, mindset. And they keep going by, you're not going to make money off a realistic sim game. That's what sold the game. That was, if you look at the numbers compared,
that's what everybody wanted.
Yeah, that's what sold the game. Then the numbers start dwindling off. It's more complaints than praises. And that keeps, that's another thing, the PR move. He's like, no, we got more people that like the game than that don't like the game. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You got more. If you go every game site, YouTube video, they're talking about how bad the game is compared to what it was earlier in development.
Yo, let me ask you this.
I think he might be in denial, because he knows like the game isn't great, and he wants to think it's great because it's like his own creation. But there's tons of issues with the game that needs to be fixed. The community is trying to advocate that and trying to say that, but doesn't help that Ash is saying like, "Oh no, everyone loves this game. There's only a few people that don't like it. The majority loves this game. It's great." When it's not.
Yeah, that's
there's
a lot
of issues that need to be fixed.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Okay. Yo, you're saying that when the ESPC video, how much it got? 1 million views, right? Over 1 million views.
Over 1 million.
But you're saying that it got over 1 million views because it was portraying that this is going to be a boxing sim game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Be a sim box. 100%.
That's why I wanted it. I was like, yo, this look like the real thing.
And you know what? I'm gonna be hitting me up.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate here. What if this game, and I always say this whole the analogy of cover bands. You guys know what a cover band is?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So somebody who takes somebody else's music and then plays it back and they really like it. Right? Right now in let's just say in the last 10 years, there's so many of these nostalgia games are coming out again. Nostalgia, like they're trying to reissue these games and just kind of modernize them. Like if you played WrestleFest in arcade, you got Retromania. You have all these remakes of Temco Bowl right now for the football games, and so you know what I mean. Like that whole everybody's trying to rehash these games. And I always said, I keep on coming back. I think that Undisputed was just supposed to be a rehash of Fight Night Champion, and in doing so, they brought the same problems into the game. But you guys were saying that when you saw the ESBC, based on that, it was going a totally different. You guys were feeling sim boxing at that point. It wasn't no Fight Night Champion. It wasn't a Fight Night Champion knockoff. All right.
No.
I feel like
by trying to beat Fight Night Champion, they made the game even worse than Fight Night Champion. Like they tried doing something casual off of the foundation of a simulation game. Like they went from ESBC and then tried to make it more casual off that simulation foundation, which didn't work out well because look where we're at now. So
My
I
thing
hope
is,
if they either want to go sim or hybrid, they just focus on sim or hybrid. And it sounds like Ash wants to go hybrid, according to like the recent interview, which kind of sucks. But I don't know. If they can actually make a game that
But
works and it's broken, then that'd be surprising.
but the thing is, we still compare it to Fight Night Champion. We don't compare it to Fight Night Round 4, 3. You know what I mean? We compare it specifically to Fight Night Champion.
yeah, but my thing
Yeah, but
is,
it's worse than Fight Night
why
Champion.
can't
It's
we
not
have
comparable.
options?
Fight Night Champion, in my opinion, it's better because it works. Like, it actually works as a boxing game. Even though you can spam and you can cheese, if you have two people that actually like know boxing, it looks better than people that try to box and undisputed.
Yeah.
I don't
my
think there's
thing
any
is-
boxing taking place in Fight Night Champion. I don't think there's no boxing taking place in Undisputed. I after I played Bloody
Yeah, no,
Knuckles,
no.
I saw a real boxing sim.
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bloody Knuckles is really good so far, and I hope he continues in the sim direction. And it's probably one of the best games we have currently. Like
Mechanics
so
was.
Cold blooded. Let me ask you this. Cold blooded. Let me ask you this on a 10 scale, in terms of 1 being a poor sim and 10 being this is really a sim. What would you rank Undisputed on that 1 to 10 scale? 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest towards being a boxing sim.
I have to have 2 scales, bro. Like, I'd have to have an online scale and an offline scale, because I will admit the game offline is a different experience.
Okay, let's talk offline. Let's go offline. We'll start with offline.
Yeah, offline.
Because Bloody Knuckles is offline anyways, right?
I would give it a 7. I think when you put it on simulation mode, it gets a little higher. I think it's very close offline. Offline is very close.
So on casual mode, you're giving it a 7 out of 10 towards sim boxer.
100% offline. When I play with other people, yes. I literally. So the way I play is a little different though. So I will say that. So because of the way I play, making people miss and so on and so forth, I don't have desync issues offline, and so I actually benefit from doing all of that. So the game just feels like it should feel.
We're talking strictly offline right now.
Yeah,
but
I think the only thing missing from an offline point of view, if I'm playing with 2 people and we're in the same room, the only thing that's not making this sim is something to slow down the action entirely. A vulnerability system, maybe more reward for a clean counter, maybe a clinch, something to slow the game down. You slow the game down more, and you fix the.
But before we get to slowing the game down,
it's just
so we have 2 modes. We have but there's casual mode and there's simulation mode, right?
Yes.
For casual mode, which is basically every option from career mode, for example, it's default casual. We can't change it. What are you're saying? A 7 out of 10 for as a sim box?
I still hold it to a 7, bro. I think it's the closest.
Okay.
Offline.
Now, if we play exhibition mode and now we get to toggle it and we put in simulation, then what would you say it is?
I'm still holding to the same standard, only because I don't think the simulation
both of them 7
works. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't think sim works well enough to boost it. So I'm glad that it's there, but there needs to be penalty, like or reward. So once I get a clean manual block, there has to be some type of reward for it, and there's not. Because that would slow the game down as well. If I could get a clean manual block, not a parry, but just something to slow the momentum down on the other side, it just slows the ebb and flow of the fight down entirely. As much as I didn't like the long parries of Fight Night Round 3, it made people cautious because you didn't want to get parried. So it made you pick your spots and try to work around your guy's defense. Things like that matter. It changes the ebb and flow of the game, and it makes it feel more realistic. That's what the game is missing. If the game had something in place like that, we wouldn't have as many issues as we do.
Okay, so going down to Bloody Knuckle on that same 10 scale, what would you say Bloody Knuckle is? Because you gave the other one a 7.
In terms of sim, I think Bloody Knuckle is like 8.5 in terms of sim. It has everything that you want in the actual.
Okay, that's fair.
The problem is, as a video game, it doesn't feel very good yet.
Yeah, because it's the first. It's like I don't know what it's like version. It's really like version 1.
But that's everybody when they want to play a game.
No, it is. Yeah, it's
MMA here.
So Cold Blooded. Cold Blood, just to give you my thing on Undisputed in terms of that question I asked you, I'll say Undisputed is I'll give it a 6, and I'll give Bloody Knuckles I'm gonna give it a 9.
That's fair. I'm not mad at it. That's fair. I just think that Bloody Knuckles has everything that should be in the game, but it's also missing some of the things that I think Undisputed are missing. Like I think there needs to be more reward for when you're laying clean. I know he just added the stagger system and all that, but I do feel like I can land a bit too much in Bloody Knuckles at the moment. Even then, in Bloody Knuckles, you know what Bloody Knuckles remind me of? There was an old game. It was, bro,
Tactic
it wasn't
boxing.
even like models. It was 3D. Yeah, do y'all remember 3D boxing?
Yeah,
it was like block figures. It was 3D boxing, and it was purely physics. You could just lean, do everything, and it was difficult to maneuver around the ring and so on and so forth. But once you got it, you got it. That's what Bloody Knuckles reminds me of. And I played games like that because they were more authentic to boxing to me than Fight Night was, and that's what I enjoy, bro. I enjoy feeling like I'm actually having a simulated boxing match more so than an arcade game. But not everybody's gonna buy that, you know what I mean?
But that's what they keep saying. We keep going by 15 and 20 year ago setups. My thing is, this is what I always tell companies, and the developer even said it. Why don't they do a poll? Why don't they do a survey to see what fans want? See, is there a bigger amount of casual fans and arcade fans? I mean, arcade fans and hardcore fans. That could tell you, and it's an online. People keep acting like everybody that play video games, they're not online. That's an effing lie, and I don't curse. That's a lie. Everybody's online. My mother's online, and she's 85. Everybody's online. You can't use the same excuse that EA used to use. I used to tell EA crap like that, and they used to get mad at me. Like, Dad, Poe, be quiet. Sometimes. No, I'm not being quiet. Facts is facts. JMMA here. Jay, you got to take your mute off. Want to hear what you got to say.
Yo. Y'all can hear me, right?
All right, there you go. JMMA is in the house. I would say one of the main content creators when it comes to Undisputed. I was about to call it ESBC, but it's far from that. But he's one of the top Undisputed, content creators and advocate. Is that saying too much, Jay?
Advocate? What do you mean by advocate? See, Poe, you be trying to sneak in. No, you be trying to sneak in that little. You think I'm gonna be noticing?
You know what it means, but no, like me.
Well, Paul, are we saying advocate or are we saying participant?
What's gonna get at you, Jay. But Jay, let's keep it casual. I hate saying that word. I don't know why I said it. Jay, you still there?
No, I'm right here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. I seen the triangle with a red mark by your name. Yeah. But yeah, when I say advocate, I'm advocating for the game to be realistic, at least have options. And that's that conversation never, like, when they get stuck, as like froze up when you say, I forgot who asked, was it Intalkable that said it? But
it was.
why we don't have options. And as like he froze up like a deer in headlights, and he kind of changed the subject. I'm like, yo, what the heck? He made me question. Did he just ask about options? And ask like jump past that after he glanced at Will. Look at the video. Me, I'm paying attention to everything. Everybody's eyes. I'm paying attention to their movement, if they feel uncomfortable or what. I'm paying attention to all that because that's what I do. All right, now let's get to JMMA. What's up, Jay?
I'm chilling, bro. I can't complain.
your experience.
Jay, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Desync. If they were able to fix desyncs, what would be the future of Undisputed?
I mean, I think Cold Blooded can attest this. I think the game would be way better. Like that, what we played at that event probably is easily one of the best versions of Undisputed I played. No desync. I felt like the skill gap was much closer than it was because of no desync. I was telling somebody in my live the other night when I was sparring prior, just to like before the event started. I'm so used to like punches not landing. And then he was using Josh Taylor throwing the jab, and every time I usually walk forward and the jab don't land, but every time I walk forward, he threw the jab, it landed. So, you know what I mean? I think, honestly, I think the game would be way better off, to be quite honest with you.
But here's the thing, though. If they were to, let's just say they correct the desync, in terms of how the game would, I guess the development of the game, would it actually go towards a more box sim experience, or would it continue towards the arcade fighter experience?
I would say more boxing. I feel like what they've been trying to do is make corrections around desync instead of just actually straight up fixing desync. But as we found out in the meeting, it's just I don't think that's an actual desync fix is gonna happen this time around. But if they were to like actually fix desync and start like making gameplay changes, like actual gameplay changes, I think the game will lean towards more sim.
But the issue with the fixing the desync. So right now it's peer to peer. Do you know what service they're using?
I believe they use
who's the service provider?
It's
PlayFab, right?
Yeah. So like Rainbow Six, all those games. Yeah.
So if they were to take the next tier, which would be the multiplayer service, PlayFab is not optimized with Unity for it to work properly?
Yeah, correct. Unit. So from what, and again, Cold Blooded could back me up. From what I got from everything when we was talking about desync, it just made they made it seem like what I got from it was like they made too many mistakes early on with Unity, and now like they box themselves in the corner. That's what it sounded like to me. So now like they're hiring.
But when you say box yourself,
no, go ahead.
The higher.
Oh, sorry. But when you say box yourself in the corner, this comes down. But the thing is, going back to the PlayFab multiplayer server, it's optimized for Unity, right?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
So then it really boils down to game. This game was designed more as an offline mode. Then it was never intended to be an online game.
Yeah, that's what you'll see in Cold Blooded's video. Ash said that exactly. I don't want to spoil it, but
no, I thought they said it differently. I thought he said it wasn't really.
He said no. He said I can't remember exactly or like verbatim, but it was something along the lines of like they made the game strictly offline at first, and then when they started like shopping it around to coders who know how to put it on multiplayer, they basically was like, y'all pretty much butchered the game for the most part. Yep. That's out of Ash mouth. So
yeah, so it's too late now. But I wonder when that happened, because when me and Ash talked, we talked early in the development process, and Ash was saying that the game is going to be online and esports focused at first. So it must have came way. That must have came.
This would have to be around the time of the betas then. This would have to be around that time.
We're talking
so like 2022. That. Yeah, so it had to be around the time of the beta, because I know when they had that first creator event, all that was offline. So it would have to be around the time of the betas, or a little bit before then.
Yeah, because Ash was saying that, because I was like, "Are you gonna have offline modes?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have offline modes." He never said like it was an issue with the online, because that's why the esports was in there and stuff. So I was like, Dad, Ash must be looking at my wish list or something, because that was one of the things I was throwing at Brian Mazik. Brian Mazik, the one that put Ash on to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, where are they going? Because I'm like when I'm talking, I'm trying to find the chat that me and Ash had when he was saying that he wanted to to have modes for people offline. Because I was like, if we gonna have a mode? Because you talking about online? Because everything you saying sound like online to me. I said, are we gonna have an offline mode? He said, yeah, we're gonna have an offline mode. But then I was questioning him about what where he was going with the game. What did he want the game to be? Was it going to be an arcade or sim? He said it's gonna be arcade first, and then we're gonna have a mode for the arcade fans, the hybrid fans. We're gonna have a mode for that. So all this changed. So that means people start getting in his ear. I'm trying to wonder, is that a fact or am I misreading, Ash?
I would say if you ask me personally,
Yes.
what was this? So when did the trailer come out for console? Like May of last year, around that time. I would probably say, I mean, Paul, you know how it goes. When you got investors that see, Undisputed, a boxing game, they're like, how can we get the most return on our investment? I mean, what is Ash gonna say? No, I don't. No, I don't want to do that. I mean, they pretty much invested their livelihood into the game. He gotta listen. You know what I mean to what he said. I mean, he not gonna come out and say that's what happened, but like we know that. So I think that now that he's got that monkey off his back, because I'm gonna be honest, when I say back yourself into a corner, when you go after investors, especially those who really are only looking for profit, you have to you're pretty much eating out the palm of their hand at that certain point. So I think now that monkey is off his back, I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens. Me personally, I find it kind of awkward that they're hiring a whole new team with the current team right now. I said that in Vegas, it's extremely awkward. It must be, you in studio, you going to work every day, and you see in the Discord and online that you about to get replaced. So I find that extremely awkward.
And my thing is, see ya. I think Aimbot, he was going to school for Unity, because Aimbot didn't know nothing about Unity. I don't think they getting rid of Aimbot because he's the main guy that he was there day one. So I think he's been studying for it.
Yeah, and
they're making that move fast.
It was good, bro.
Right.
Yo, Poe, I saw Blaze pound for pound TV said Undisputed is great to play when you play individuals who want to box properly and not simply win. So so just going on that. So Jay, when I saw the interview you guys had with Ash, and one of the things he asked that question is like, if you guys play the game properly, then the gameplay work. You know what I mean? The gameplay works, right?
Right.
Oh man, that was a headache when he said that. Yo,
well, it's a loaded question, right? It's the kind of dismiss all the problems, right? But Jay, what I want to know is that, so based on the creator league, you guys have rules, right? What were the rules of that league?
We didn't have no rules. There was
What were your gameplay rules?
There was no rules. I'm telling you, there was no rules. There was no bans.
There was no rules.
It was nothing. It was just like, all right.
There was no rules.
There was no rules at all. Nothing at all. There was no rules. I mean, if you could go watch some of the videos, there was no rules.
No, I did watch the videos. So what I want to know is, how did you guys know? How come you guys didn't have anybody in that league that say, okay, I'm gonna hit you with 2 jabs, and then I'm gonna go loose foot movement, and I'm gonna run on the outskirts of the ring.
Because that's how none of us
so you can't touch me, so I can win the round on points.
What's
prevented that happening from your league?
Go ahead, Blooded. Go ahead.
You never got that because none of us actually play like that.
None of you play like, okay, so we didn't. But how would you? So it wasn't a matter of you're screening guys out. You're just playing. You're playing with a group of friends that you know. Okay, we play a certain way. Right. We don't play that way, right? Like if I was playing, I don't play that way. I don't play that way either, right? Because you're playing with your buddies, or you're playing within a league. But
buddies and not buddies. If none of us play like that. None of us play like that.
right?
Now you play that.
That's,
Okay.
that's why we
I
do
think
content. You see in our videos when we play, we don't do any of that stuff. That's why.
yeah, and to piggyback off
But you
that,
know what
with
I'm talking about, right?
I
Yeah,
I
100%
get
what
what
you're
you're
talking about.
we get what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. I think
Right.
what people are confused on, it wasn't like no, let's just gatekeep and get these certain amount of people. It really was just like everybody's uploading gameplay videos, and it's pretty much the same thing: body jab, loose footwork, southpaw Amir Khan, southpaw Joe Frazier. So I was like, all right. And nobody's watching these videos. I look at metrics for everything because I'm into that stuff. Those videos really don't do well. So I'm like, okay, let me just go look at the creators that I watch and just get all us together so we can make better gameplay videos. That's pretty much what it was. That's why we didn't have rules.
Right.
I know how everybody fights. I mean,
but there was still a bit of but you're still screening. You're still screening to make sure you don't get those clowns in the tournament or in the league. Then,
right? Yeah. Why would you want to if you're getting people with
no, I don't want to play with those guys. I don't want to play with those guys. I don't want to play with those guys. That's the whole point of joining a league. So
at that point you could go in ranked and play those people. There would be no point.
Well, here's the thing. So you guys didn't have any rules, but you knew. The thing is, you guys kind of you're playing gentleman rules then, essentially, right? But usually when you go to these leagues, they have it posted. And I think one of the first rules is you don't want however they word it. We're not going to have any people who do that. What I described. You hit them 3 times and you run away and try to win it on the scorecards, kind of thing, just like that. And it's not back. And the thing is, I want to make it clear, it's not back foot. This is not back foot boxing. I'm talking about something completely different.
Just straight running.
I'm talking about
running.
I'm talking about somebody literally hit you one and they're going on the skirt of the ring and and they know how to move around that circle.
Fight. Yep.
Yeah. And they win the round. One thing I know that Undisputed, they have 3 different judges. They're different character sets. So at least sometimes it kind of catches it. But here's the thing now. If the whole idea is that these leagues are trying to prevent that from happening, how would you take that concept now and put it into Undisputed?
Ooh.
Like, what are the requirements for that? You know what I mean? Like, what would be the technical requirements that you could take that idea and now we're going to implement it in Undisputed so that way you're not going to run into that crap in rank or even unranked?
Honestly, I don't feel like it's really much for them to do, honestly. Talking to Juice about this, we always talk about the back foot and the front foot thing. Honestly, if they were to slow down the speed of loose footwork, like how much you're going backwards, I think that problem is pretty much eradicated. Honestly, the whole run.
That'll correct it.
I think it does.
That's
or,
what
you put, or if you put loose footwork on people who actually have great footwork. I mean, Rocky Marciano shouldn't be able to use it. That was one of the things I brought up to Ash. I was like, while loose footwork is a great mechanic, Rocky Marciano shouldn't be able to have loose footwork. You know what I mean? So
exactly. Facts.
So if we do it that way, I think that pretty much eradicates, because that's the whole point of loose footwork right now for some of these guys. It's like, okay, I know Rocky Marciano has slow footwork. He hits fast. He powerful. Now imagine if I had the same speed of footwork as Ali. That just makes him even more overpowered than what he is, you know. So
yeah, that's crazy. And my thing is, hold up. Ash keeps saying fair. We got to make it so the game is fair. They don't say that in the arcade fighting games. You got to learn. Mortal Kombat. Tekken.
I think with those games, to be fair to them, they have actual working games though.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that, but still, it's the fact that each character stands out. They have their own unique things that they do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna see nobody.
But when you guys
go ahead, what you saying?
No, sorry, go on.
What you saying, Nick?
But during that whole, when you guys were giving your feedback to Ash, did that actual, like how the way I described it, did that actually come up in that meeting? Did anyone express their opinions on that?
So what people don't know is the day before we had a a sit down with Cold Blooded actually wasn't there for, but we had a sit down with some
Will,
QA testers and some devs and Will, and pretty much we was talking about all that. I'm gonna be honest.
it wasn't coaching.
At
It wasn't coaching.
nah, that's why I wish I would recorded it. But Pryor actually took a video of it. I mean, we was saying some crazy stuff. But I don't
Yeah,
look at Ash as a guy that know the ins and outs of his game. I mean, like I just don't expect him to know that. I mean, he's the head figure of this game. I don't expect him to know each and everything about the game. But when we was talking to those developers, we know, okay, they understand the intricacies of the game better than he would. So that's why that conversation was more detailed for that rather than for Ash.
It was some questions that I was hoping that y'all asked. Like, why was the boxes? They keep saying boxes back in the studio. No, they're not. You talking to somebody that know better than that. They're not in the studio. Then Coach Anthony, do y'all know who Coach Anthony is?
Yeah.
He approached Ash and left him his number. So I don't think he's gonna really make a difference because he's a hardcore fan, and he feel like by him being in the being a part of the team, he can make changes for the game to get back to where it was or initially should be. I don't think that it's gonna happen. Am I right or wrong? What
personally, I think it's extremely possible. That I mean, what I got from that interview with Ash, I think he's pretty much on the same page with all of us. That's pretty much that's what I got from
him.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Good point.
But it looks like to me though, from what because I looked at the hirings on the way back home. It looked like he got some pretty interesting people who know what they're doing. So I mean, honestly, if they were to go and get Coach Anthony, it really wouldn't shock me. Like it just wouldn't shock me at all.
So where did you see the hirings at? You got it from LinkedIn or what's called?
No, I got it. I just looked on LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn. Yeah, I was watching. I was like, because I got a whole list of with another dev that was helping me.
Right.
I got a whole list. Like, what? He's not really hiring the right people for what he want to accomplish, or is that the right people for what he's told to be accomplished?
Well, like I was saying in that live stream the other day, usually when stuff like this happens, this has been in the works long before it's actually public. So like when a game company comes out and say, hey, this game is in development, and they show a trailer or they announce it, it's been in development long before they even say something. So honestly, to me, I seriously would not be surprised when this gets announced. I'm 100% positive, 1000% positive. Undisputed 2 has been a thing for long before we even know about it.
Yeah, that's why I be talking about with EA. I said if EA was making a boxing game, they would have made the announcement already. They're not making
EA is not making a boxing game. That's over with.
Yeah, they're not making a boxing game. What's called messed that up for them. The numbers, they didn't keep up with their numbers. That's what they were looking at. From my perspective, they got hyped up when they saw the million. They said, all right, we can make a game. Then the developer said, but we have to wait and see the longevity. Because their thing is they still going off for their shock off of the champion, how champions sold. So they got like a mental lapse on that. So they're like, let us see, can they sustain this for at least a month? After a month, it start dropping. It start dropping fast. And that was one of my pet peeves with Ash when he was like saying it's more people. He threw the 5% thing in it. That's a PR move. The 5% versus the 95%. Just throw them words up there. They don't have to be correct, but it helps us. That's why he did that.
When's the last time CSI collected data on the game? Like outside of this the Vegas content creator meeting, right? when was the last time they actually they pulled feedback from the community?
I don't know.
The last time I can remember is like around January 25th when they did a play test. That would have been the last time I could remember.
But I will say, when we was like just chopping it up and talking, they were saying some stuff. I ain't gonna say what exactly, but they were saying some stuff that be in the Discord, and I was like, okay, they pay attention.
Yeah, they
to
see
the
everything.
Discord. Yeah, they see everything in the Discord.
They might not do like a poll, but trust me, they see everything.
Yeah, because they were saying some stuff and some suggestions that I had seen. So, are they taking that into account? That's a different story. But I know they do see it.
But here's here's the flaw with
my thing. They should do a survey and a poll. For one, it brings back the community, make them feel like they're involved and things going to change. If you want to be slick about it, do the survey and a poll. And people be like, all right, they're going to do what we want because they just putting out a poll instead of, doing things that, we literally see they might not be doing.
Right.
Oh,
but here's the flaw with Discord. Here's the flaw with Discord. The information that's being collected from Discord is going to be biased towards what CSI is trying to push right now, which is really an arcade fighter.
You think so?
It's going to be all biased.
Toxic.
Like in the Discord, once you
it's
toxic. But the thing, once you start removing all the voices that are against the direction of the game right now, all you're going to be collecting is bias data.
Always say that's that, because even Intalkable could speak up for me. When I was senior moderator and community leader, I just talked to people, like, yo, you got a disagreement, you just got to express it a different way. Yep. I wasn't banning people left and right like that. We had some people on it. This is a guy called Lion. I know you remember Lion.
Well, Lionheart.
That joke used to be, that joke was
annoying. Hey, Undisputed is banning people like Donald Trump and the U.S. media right now. That's what's going on.
I got banned from Undisputed Discord just for mentioning my creations list.
You go the community together.
They're running. Hey, that's Trump policies right now on Discord.
For real. Yeah, they got my ass banned for freaking the creation stuff.
Yeah, but like not to deviate, but like Poe, he kept the community together with Fight Night, bro, 100%. Like prior to him even being in the EA forums, him and PR guy, they were in the league, FNBC or whatever, and then we moved the forums to Fight Night Nation, and then they left to go do the EA moderators, and I was involved in all that. Yeah. And when I tell you everything went downhill when they left, like they kept everything together.
Yep. I left because once they told me what Fight Night, remember, I know you remember Indigo 72.
Oh yeah,
Anthony, that's my boy. That's like my son godfather. We became friends. And one thing I'm always giving respect, because when I went to a boxing event, because Indigo 72, he's a referee and a judge, so he got them to announce me. Then everybody say, "Oh, Sweat," because there was people there that knew me, and they're like, "Oh, Sweat, I didn't know that." So that was a good thing. But my thing is, I'm jumping off topic. But my thing is that we had a lot going on in that community, but we kept it together. I always made sure that people, if they was being disrespectful, like really disrespectful, they got banned. But other than that, everybody had their voice heard. It wasn't you got to agree with us. I didn't agree with EA. And Tagabu could tell you that. Papanosa could tell you that. I used to tell them to their face, I don't like the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If I didn't like something, I didn't like it. And remember, I used to do this another thing that they could prove to y'all. Remember when I used to do the round tables with the developers?
Developers, yeah. Yep.
That's what when Steel City say they can't do the round table, live
In
round
fact,
table.
you were the first
That's
person
a
to do
lie.
the Kudo Sonata interview. It was you.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yup. And me and him had a good friendship. To this day, I talked to him on LinkedIn. He's like, Poe used to give me a headache because you used to stay on me. Yeah, that everybody just like blink their thing out. So, what do you think? I'm gonna say to Intalkable, where do you think the game should go from here?
Outside of changing engines, I think they dropped the ball in certain aspects too. Like some of the updates they should have did, they actually could have learned from like Fight Night. Like in one of the videos I did, I broke down all the previous patch notes from like Fight Night Champion, and a lot of them were relevant because a lot of the issues that Fight Night Champion had out the gate are issues that Undisputed has right this second. So, like Fight Night Champion didn't have loose movement, but it had terrible movement. Like if you backed up and never went forward, there wasn't nobody catching you, bro. It was insane. So in one of the title updates, they made it to where when you blocked while moving backwards, it slows you down. So that was a way of people not being able to run while holding the block button. Undisputed could do that right now, and that would make a huge difference. Like I don't know why they don't learn from previous developers' mistakes. The game is in the same genre. Just learn from their mistakes.
Exactly. Oh yeah, this something I gotta ask you.
It's a cover game.
Yeah. Check this out. Talk about this something I gotta talk to you about. Remember when the wish list when that happened?
Yeah. That wish list was to this day. That's like boxing game Bible.
Damn, that's what's up, man.
Yeah. So we sent that wish list. Everybody thought that's what Fight Night Champion was gonna be. But brother was saying they couldn't put everything in the game because they was working on the story mode. The story mode took their budget for that
all
game.
their time.
Yes, EA is $1 billion company, but you got to realize EA has over 100 games that they're working on. So each game has its own budget. And when they start hiring them actors and using developers for that story mode, that killed a lot of things. And do you remember when they went up to the Dad, I'm umming a lot. But when they went up to EA and they were asking questions and stuff, and they were like coming back. I don't know if they told everybody, but they're saying the game ain't what we think it's gonna be. That wish list, they only use like I think 2%,
like 2% milk.
Yeah.
And to us back then, when it comes to sports games, 2K, NBA 2K was the model that every sports game should have used. You remember that's what we always said in it? And they didn't follow that school.
From the jump.
Yup. And then when I met Ash, that's why I know Ash always he listened to a lot of stuff. Ash said he wanted ESBC at the time to be the NBA 2K of boxing. So right then and there, I'm like, is this joker just saying that because that's something I said in the past? And he was
I remember that.
It.
Like that was one of those things where if you actually cared about boxing. At the time, I was actually when I stopped playing Fight Night Champion, I started taking actual boxing more seriously. And I remember prior to Fight Night Champion coming out, Poe had did the wish list. And if you actually cared about the game, you would like pay attention to that wish list because he brought down tendencies, the styles. Like I think they have the styles in the game now by word, but it's literally like putting words that like Poe used. Like when he told everybody you needed a swarmer, outboxer, slugger, boxer, puncher, counter puncher, southpaw, you needed your switch hitter, ambidextrous, you needed your boxer brawler, which is more of a hybrid style. He put everybody onto that. And then he had the craftsman, which was the counter puncher, outboxer. Like I remember all of that like it was yesterday. And, he ended up doing the interview with EA, and they made it seem like the majority of that was gonna come into fruition. And then the game came out. And it couldn't be any further.
That was a PR move. That was a PR move. And Brizzo told me, he said,
sorry about
what
that.
you saying,
So, sorry to interject. I was just saying about the wish list times. I always wanted to bring this to the content creators. What do you think about the ultimate wish list and the ultimate cab mode that we presented to EA that should have been in Undisputed? And also, what do you think about Undisputed having 25 cab slots when they should have 100 and have more game
Well, that's
modes?
crazy. More in modern days, it should be more. It's like it's in this modern day with technology and stuff. This is what I always say, and I got receipts. Anything that a person wants in a video game, it can be done. It really can. Developers gonna tell you what they want you to believe. I got that from Brizzo. I got that from who else was saying that? Is a developer from 2K. I don't remember their name, and some of them they don't want me to say their name. But they were saying, and at this time, it's no excuse. If a company does something, it's because they're trying to save it for the next game. And that's what I got from EA. Brizzo thought it was gonna be a fight night champion too. So he said, we're gonna get it in part 2. And what was gonna happen in Fight Night Champion 2, they was gonna use the story mode, but you could create a character for the story mode. And I was like, all right, I see what you're doing. And then he said, Poe, I got some bad news. We're about to stick with the UFC. And they keep everybody, and I keep hearing everybody keep saying it's the boxers too expensive. It's hard to get the boxers. From my experience after EA, when I was dealing with companies to get boxers, like with round for round, we had over 100 boxers. It wasn't hard to get them. We had Zab Judah. We had all these boxers. Some of them still under contract. Zab, that's not my fault. That's the guy that owns the company. I had left. That's why I left, because I started seeing shady stuff, and I'm not into that shady stuff. Yeah. So Jay, man, glad you're on the show, but what do you think? Let me see. Should be the next steps to keep the community together.
Honestly, I thought the videos that we all put out, and then the one Cold Blooded about to put out soon. You say you put it out tomorrow, right? Blooded?
Yeah, it'll probably be out tomorrow morning. I'm just fixing a couple things. I wanted to get my facts straight on a couple stuff before I actually dropped everything. And I wasn't able to get like certain footage that I really wanted. So a lot of it is just like word of mouth. Like the end of the interview is just gonna be like, this is what happened. You know what I mean?
Right. So once he posts that, honestly, I thought that conversation was probably one of the best ones the community is probably gonna get. Going forward, though, I think they really just need the way they were just straight up and honest with us. I think going forward, it needs to be like that all the time. Yeah, we can't
what
get
do
this
ask
in.
me about this might be the last? Like, is that the last interview of this generation of the game, or in general? Because he said this might be the last.
Wait, Ash said that?
Yeah, I heard that in the beginning, like before he started, said this might be the last. I don't know what he meant by that, so I'm just thinking about the interview or whatever.
I have to go back and listen because I don't remember.
Yeah, because I heard him say that.
Okay, yeah, that's
interesting. Jay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's wrong for me to say that the creator league and that whole interview that took place in Vegas, it represents a focus group?
Yeah.
Why?
Because for one, we covered every aspect. I think with like things.
Well, you're not employed. Hold on, you're not employees, right? You're not employees with CSI or Undisputed.
No.
Okay. But that's what I'm saying. Usually, when you have a focus group, it's basically people who come there and they volunteer, and then they get they get an honorarium in return for providing their feedback.
But I would have to see a return on investment with the feedback, though. I mean, because we went there, right, and we pretty much said everything about the game, and made it public, whatever. I think with that now, Ash is going to be held to a way higher standard than what he normally is. Honestly, I truly do feel like that because I think a lot of people was kind of, no disrespect to Ash, shout out to him. I think a lot of people was letting him float by a little bit. But I think now that he was so straight up and honest and straightforward with everyone, I think now going forward, whatever he decides to do with Unreal Engine or Undisputed 2 or whatever, I think it's do or die now. But going back to the original question, I wouldn't necessarily say we're a focus group, but I do think with that interview, I knew it wasn't going to please everybody. The main point of it was to just to get answers, whether if people liked it or not. Like Poe said, he didn't like some of the answers from it, but I just think the whole point. I just wanted them to say it. I think that's what everybody wanted to hear. But some people don't like the fact that we didn't start off the rip just asking gameplay questions. Some people don't like that we asked about career mode. Some people don't like that we asked about online. It's just like everybody has different preferences with stuff like that. But I necessarily wouldn't say we're a focus group right now. I wouldn't say that. It was just a bunch of content creators in the room. That's how I look at it.
Well, remember the 10 that were selected, they all have a significant subscription base, which kind of goes back to if you're talking about the dividends of payoff.
That's important too, right there, bro. You just said it.
Right. Yeah. But here's the thing now. If we're talking about it's gonna show that it's gonna kind of hold Ash at a higher he's gonna have to be more accountable then. The thing is this, my only counter argument to that is when he, I guess, coaxed the whole group into that whole, and I mentioned it before, this whole idea that, well, if you play the game right, if you play the game it's supposed to be, don't you agree that A, B, and C? And to me, when I don't think there was a person in the group, and when he hit you guys with that question, nobody came back and spit it back at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just saying that's my only argument is, okay, if we're going to say accountability, there ain't going to be no accountability based on that.
You're missing a key point to the question. He specified offline as well without desync. And I 100% agree with offline played right. Even if you play the game dumb, offline without desync, the game is just a different.
Yeah,
I can literally play.
No argument offline. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, I have no issue. Yeah, I have no issues offline.
He said, "Would you agree that offline, perfect conditions, the game is the closest to the real and out?"
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
okay. I keep it out of context then.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
But
my context was I thought we were talking. My context was, you know what my context was? Sorry to cut you off. My context was he was asking the question in terms of online, seeing that you guys are playing in a league. Yeah. You guys are playing in an online league, technically, right? You guys are not playing remote play league.
See, AJ, that's why when Cold Blooded drops his part, I want to drop the whole interview because I feel like with the questions split up between everybody, a lot of context got lost. So, like Cold Blooded said, that question was asked about offline playing the game right. Then that led into the online desync part of the interview. That's why I was talking about when he was like, we made the game originally offline, then we brought it to different people to, try to make it right for online. And they was like pretty much SCI butchered the game. It's like it was just completely bad for online. So that's what led into that conversation right there. But I honestly, now that you say that, I can get how you got that impression. I can honestly see how you got that impression.
But they knew.
Well, I guess it's how the clips are edited.
The games was butchered early.
So from what he was saying, from what he said, he was like, pretty much they didn't like break the game or try to see like if it was like this was cheesy or that was cheesy. It was pretty much they were playing the game like real boxing. And then when you bring it to these guys who are trying to get it online, who understand certain things, break a game, cheese, meta, whatever you want to call it, they were like, my goodness, like, did y'all not test anything? Did y'all not do this and do that? So that's where he was like, that's what a mistake was made with desyncing online. They really didn't take those precautions early on, which cost them right now. But this is coming from him though. I mean, I think we pretty much all knew that. But to hear it from him exactly, that was more than enough.
Well, here's the thing. Desync, right? Based on what you just said, I think earlier we were saying that the question was when they started ESBC, was it designed as an offline mode, or was it or was it being designed as an online mode? I think the answer we got in the beginning was it started off as an offline mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. So they would always, right. So then I don't know, they would run into that issue no matter what.
I mean, you can say. I mean, yeah, you can say that. I mean, Poe knows because he was around at that time when the content creators was coming back from that first event. They said they was running into a lot of like the game in the trailers. Really, like it was the same thing as it was in the trailers, but they ran into like a lot of bugs. You know, you had the referee flying out the ring at certain play. You know what I mean? So yeah,
they said
I guess you can say that. Yeah,
they said it needed just tweaks. They said the gameplay. They said it was the kind of the best that what they saw. They said they had a lot of things that they saw in the thing, and they wonder why they're not putting out them videos. They said the videos that we were seeing and we were praising, it looked better. And I was like, yeah, it looked better than that. So that
just goes to show, like, because again at that event, the undisputed I played it's not the undisputed that I can boot up right now. Just like offline and online is two completely different worlds right now. Two completely different worlds. Like undisputed offline feels like a different game.
Would you say that I don't know if you ever tested it out, but what do you say has less desync, playing somebody in remote play or playing somebody online in this game right now? Because I've played it in remote play with people, and it plays pretty good in remote play.
Remote play.
Than if the person was actually to go online.
Yeah, remote play is amazing.
Yeah, remote play is. I think even some leagues do remote play. They do just straight up remote play for some leagues, if I'm not wrong.
Well, I just think online. Go ahead. Why people keep saying that the sync is on offline too? They're not the same thing.
No, they're not the same.
I've heard that punches not landing and punches landed across the ring. I've personally never experienced that though, so I really can't agree or disagree with it. But pretty much every time I've played offline, the game works. Like if I throw a jab land, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the sync is an online thing. That's when two people are from different places. Offline, right. Offline, you're not, messing with nobody unless because even when y'all playing each other, it's gonna find somebody that's closer to you. So it should.
So right now for offline, since version 1.5, I played the whole career mode again, and I've had a couple instances where I'm getting punch registration issues in offline mode, right? Where I'm seeing punches are not landing, and like I've seen that so that's offline. But in terms of desync for online mode, I would say that if I was to scale that, like how bad is it for me? 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, I would say desync only affects me maybe, I want to say maybe 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it was.
That's all.
It's not as bad as
that's how I feel about it. But here's the thing. But here's the thing now. If I'm playing East Coast, like I'm in North America East Coast, obviously when I'm playing North America East Coast, it's gonna play really good. If I play guys in the West Coast North America, you're gonna get that lag. And obviously if I play people up in Europe, you're gonna get that lag. But here's the thing. Here's my point. If you play any kind of EA sports games and they have the money and they have the dedicated servers, if I'm playing, it's too bad we can't see the milliseconds, the ping rate on these games for Undisputed, but for any kind of EA sports game, like 3-on-3, 5-on-5, 6-on-6, I'm getting if I'm playing North America East Coast, it's like what, 18 milliseconds and lower. And if I go West Coast, it jumps up to about 70 milliseconds to around 120 milliseconds. And if I go Europe, okay, now we're going to hit 200 milliseconds. So here's the thing now, even if Undisputed were to get dedicated servers, you're still going to have to deal with, you're still going to have desync no matter what. But it's too bad we don't know exactly right now because they don't show the statistic. What is the current ping for Undisputed, like on any console or even on PC?
Oh, my mic was muted. I wouldn't have the information. A lot of that information is that's not public, which I would like for that to be public alongside the actual count for console player base and PC player base combined. But I don't think none of us have actual access information.
Yeah.
I would like for them, if they could implement this, I wish they probably could, online having like showing the ping on screen. I think that's a really interesting feature they need to add. They really need that.
Or even like the matchup screen when you're just doing the matchmaking. That's why EA does it all the time.
Yeah, they need that ASAP.
But
if
you could get 18 and under, that's all you need. 18, as long as you could get 18, you're gonna get your best online experience.
Yeah, I got 3 things I want to say. One, let me get this out the way and talk about why you didn't ask them to put your boy in there that you got the name from. Why that wasn't a conversation, man. Man, you used to worry the mess out of EA about that guy.
Listen, I'll talk to somebody. I'll say that. I'll talk to somebody.
All right.
I'll say that.
I'm like, you be giving Still City a pass. You used to.
No, I talked to somebody, Brian. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And like I said, you don't watch my content, but I in my last video, bro, I alluded to it without saying it. I alluded to it, and 100%. When I got in front of a certain person, I talked to somebody. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, between you and Country Boy, I think Country Boy was worse than you. But y'all made sure the guys that y'all like, y'all wanted in the game. And I was heavy on Gerald McCullen. Everybody, oh, he did this. Come on, man. The guy is paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I talked to his sister at least in the last year 2 times. She want him in the game. And people like Gub saying, oh, no, he shouldn't be in the game. He was dog fighting. Roy Jones was chicken fighting. But nobody's saying nothing about that. So stop. Yeah. It's deeper than what people making it being.
Oh, so Paul, I will say this. I got into an argument with somebody. I ain't gonna say no names. Actually, yes, I am. I got into an argument with that boy Beast. And I was like, bro, I promise you, I've been around for a little bit. Different name. I promise you. And I was like, bro, ask Paul. So next time you talk to him, let him know Cold Blooded ain't who we think he is.
Yeah.
I just changed my name, bro. That's it. I just changed my name.
Now that I know who you are, I can vouch for you because when Beast talk, we used to talk 3 or 4 times a week. I'm like, all right. But yeah, now I can vouch for you. Because I thought you was just
No, I just changed name, bro. That was it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I was like, whoa. Now I forgot my other questions because I'll ask one question. Damn. Guess that come with being old. Let me see. JMMA.
I wanted to say the PAX. My bad. I don't want to.
Go ahead.
I can't remember what the train of thought was.
So I don't
feel about the
now I don't feel bad. Yeah,
no, it was on me. Look, Father Time is undefeated, bro.
Yeah. J Pax, go ahead. You could start asking questions. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say.
Well, I thought you guys were asking a question. I thought you guys were bringing up something. I don't know.
Actually,
if you want me to ask a question.
I think Cold Blooded had a question before you go. Yeah, I think Cold Blooded.
Yeah, I completely forgot what it was. It was an entry or something he said, bro, and my train of thought just went the way he left.
Actually, here I got one for you. I'm seeing in the live chat Blaze Pound for Pound TV. is that the guy who would challenge Paroxys to a boxing fight?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Who was the guy who challenged him?
I think
Baby
he talking.
King.
Yeah, Baby King. I think that's who he talking.
Baby King, yeah, that's his name. I know Paroxys didn't want to do the boxing, he wanted to do a Muay Thai fight, but I feel if they did a boxing fight, I think Baby King could beat him.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that.
We all got something.
That's what happens when you get. Hey, that's what happens when you can't figure out what the question is. You're gonna get one of those.
Yeah, we all got something on that one. I don't know.
I will say that Prize is a genuine athlete. He's a genuine athlete. Yeah.
Well, they say Baby King, they're saying he looks too much of a bodybuilder, right? But I just feel like, I don't know why, but I just feel like attitude-wise, I feel like you could say Paroxys is more cerebral. I just feel Baby King would rush him.
I mean, every now and then you meet guys that are just built like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
By nature, natural with nothing.
Yep.
Oh, check this out. I know a good fight that they could put on. The OG and the YN. Me versus J Shep.
Well, you know what?
You would kill Jay Shep. You would knock him out. You would knock out Jay Shep, Poe. That's not a fair fight.
No, I'm not.
I'll take you. I'll put money if you win on points. A 3-round fight.
I'd pay to see it. I'd pay to see it.
How many rounds, Poe? 2 or 3 minute rounds?
I take the 3 minutes, even though I'm actually working out. I lost like 100 pounds. And that's another thing that was the argument. And I'm like, yeah, jokers getting mad at me for losing 100 pounds and telling me, no, you didn't. Yeah, that's crazy. And they don't realize when you're an athlete, you gain weight because your metabolism slows down greatly. Once I start moving, I start losing the weight. And plus, I'm a vegan. I don't eat meat, so I don't got nothing to stick on my body. Somebody phone going crazy.
Hey, Freddie G, you say I'm talking about 2 non-boxers. That's no different than people wanting to see Jake Paul fight non-boxers as well. There's a market for it.
But Jay Shep, he said he have I think he said 5 fights. But I think that'll be good for the community.
Actually, I remember that conversation with him. He said it was 5 showcase fights. So I asked him, "Is that do you mean exhibition fights?" And I didn't understand what the next response was.
That's what they were, because I never heard of no showcase fights in boxing as far as amateurs or pro. I never heard of showcase boxing. So they're amateurs. But
I wonder how that cold-blooded what do you think if Undisputed finally implemented community creations and actually revamped the creation suite in the Undisputed?
Dude, I would love that. Low key, I'm in favor of a boxing game that doesn't have licensed fighters, bro. Like, just give me a boxing game that works and has all the proper mechanics, and then I'll make my own. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, give me a deep creative fighter system, and I'm good with that. A lot of people
against that. A lot of people
I don't know why.
They don't want.
But I think that's part of the problem, though, bro. People want to like have that fighter likeness, and to me, I just want to have a boxing game that works. That represents
exactly.
Well. Give me my styles. Give me my in-ring stuff, and then give me a deep creator fighter, and then I'll let the community make those fighters from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because with that right there, with the community creations, you'll bring in guys like myself, Lord Demetrius, Dre 41, and a whole bunch of other guys that do the 2K wrestling games on over to the boxing game because
save money too.
That too.
Yeah.
They keep complaining about how fighters want this much money. You ain't gotta pay them if you just do it the other way.
And they have to actually implement the authentic height, weight, and reach limitations on each weight class that I presented, and I have an updated version of that list. But I would put it out if it's gonna be utilized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the one that we got
Yeah.
for the Fight Night Champions, that was for it originally, it did not get implemented the way how I wanted it to be implemented due to the fact that I love the box mechanics and stuff like that to be implemented like how it is in real life, but I want the deep customization and I want the game modes because I like to do the creative arenas. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause now we got the backyard brawl with the triangle
Yep.
ring.
No, I
Now we
love
got
that.
the whatchamacallit, the modern day bare knuckle fighting with that big old circle looking ring with the ropes and stuff. Then I don't know if you remember like a few years back that they had this thing called knockout boxing where they have
Knockout boxing. Yeah.
people
Yeah.
on a platform with no ropes and no posts.
Yep.
That needs to be implemented as well. And we need to have an old school bare knuckle and modern day bare knuckle style. Also, you could customize matches. Like you could have a boxing match with no rules. I would love to do that because I actually have a league dedicated for that on my
See,
creative.
we're outliers though, right? Because obviously we advocate for things that the masses could care less about. Because if you put Floyd Mayweather on the cover of a boxing game, that's gonna sell like hotcakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
That's true. But I think
Is that
Speaking
that-
of Floyd, not to spoil anything, but I know one of the names
he's
that
gonna
they
be in the
signed.
game.
No,
He's
not
gonna be in the
Floyd.
game.
I know one of the names that they signed, and I just won't say it. Once that gets announced, I think with that, I think that's gonna be the transition over to announce Undisputed too. If you ask me, I think that's gonna be the transition.
Oh yeah, this is the PR thing that they saying. They said, and I know for a fact, I know what happened. For one, I talked to one of the boxers. When they say that other fighters had contractual obligations, that ain't what it was. 5 years, you had people signed for 5 years ago. That's what it is. Now you got to renegotiate. That's the contract situation. They didn't have other obligations. They wanted to be in the game. It actually was like 5 people that actually text me and say, what's going on? I said, I don't work for Steel City. I just help you get in the game. I don't work for them. They're like, why they don't got me in the game? They signed me up to be in the game, but I'm not in the game. I said, that's on Todd, and that's on Will, and that's on Ash. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Will told me to stop. Will told me to stop trying to get boxers. Let them handle it. I said, oh, Sweat, I thought we was friends, and you like talking slick like that to me? I said, I'm still talking to Todd. You ain't got nothing to do with it. That was weird to me. He said, stop talking to Ash. That's who stopped me and Ash from talking. I'm 100%. When he said that, I knew what it was. And I know Ash can't hold his tongue, so that's why you got to have somebody in there to keep him from telling everything. Ash should tell you everything. And I was like, Ash, don't tell me this, man. You know, I'm not under NDA. Don't tell me nothing, because I'm going to start saying, yo, guess what's going to be in the game? So I used to do it with the EA. I used to be like, yo, this is what's going to be in the game. Brizzle told me this. Half the time, Brizzle didn't really care. Brizzle was one of them rebellious jokers. That's why he liked me. Brizzle rebellious. All right, so what y'all saying?
So going on that thing with I guess that rumor about Floyd Mayweather. So here's the thing: is it fact or fiction? I'm seeing that video floating around YouTube where they went and they scrubbed the announcer script of Undisputed, and it's showing Floyd Mayweather, but it's also showing Mike Tyson, and not just Mike Tyson, a lot of other notable boxers. Is that thing going around? Is that fact or fiction? It's all over YouTube.
Wait, can you repeat that?
there's that video that everyone's analyzing. They're showing basically the announcer script. So somebody went into the game and they went and they kind of scrubbed through the code and they could see the announcer script and they could see all the names of the fighters. So Floyd Mayweather was one of the name of the fighters, but the other fighter is Mike Tyson.
That's the father. That's his father.
So what I'm saying is that a fact fiction? That thing that's floating around YouTube right now. It came out about within the last week.
I mean, I think with stuff like that, from my knowledge, when they do things like that, they have, instead of having Jimmy Lennon come in at different set times, they have it to where whoever they're in negotiation with or who they think they can sign, they just have him announce the name anyway. So once they do potentially sign the fighters, it's already done. Because I know Triple G was on that list, and shit, we just got back.
Triple G was there too.
Yeah, we just got back from coming from Vegas. Yeah, they said Triple G is harder to get than any other boxer they trying to get right now. You know, so
not before when he got a new people.
Yeah, when he got a new manager and whatnot. Yeah.
That's how it was with Teofimo Lopez. Because at first I was talking to his manager, and he said, we could get some Teo in the game. That's when I was like, yo, y'all should be in this game and this game. Don't just be in one game. And he wanted if they get Teo, they got to get all the other boxers. But I guess Steel City worked it out so they could just get Teo. And I don't know if he still got the same.
What's going on? What's going on with that? I think it was in the Vegas interview as well. They were talking about tiers, getting rid of ratings and turning it into a tier system.
That man, you making me upset when you say that. What do you say about that?
Doesn't sound that good at all. It's kind of like, okay,
that's an arcade fighter mindset. That whole structure. And I talked to I ran right onto LinkedIn. I said, "What you think about a tier system in a sports game, a boxing game?" They said that's an arcade game, all the way. It's no loop around it. That's an arcade setup. And they keep saying about the ratings. Stop letting the developers who are not really boxing fans or don't know that much about boxing do ratings, tendencies, and all that. You letting the wrong people do them. I already gave Ash a list of people that can do the tendencies and ratings. These guys are experts. This guy named Jones, he's on Twitter. I knew him for about 2 or 3 decades. He's an expert at doing it. I told him to reach out to Ash, and he said they're not listening to him. I mean, they're not talking to him for some reason. They're not even opening his email. And I'm like, yo, I told him about you. That's all I could do.
Here's my thing about that tiers and ratings. I find that the whole, like this going back to EA Sports game, it makes sense to go to tiers if you're doing like 3-on-3, 3-on-3, 5-on-5, 6-on-6. Because when you start to play those kind of team games, you're trying to create synergies based on the traits. So that's why a lot of times they do that. They switch it to a tier system, but also to not to break the gaming engine. So you could kind of control the exploits at the same time. But the whole thing about I'm saying 3-on-3, 5-on-5, 6-on-6, those are team sports games. Boxing's 1-on-1. So how would it benefit the boxing game then by switching it from a ratings to a tier system?
Well, about that tier system, they did implement it in UFC 4 and 5. That I do know, because they took off doing your own custom move sets like since UFC 3 and your own stats, and they did the tier system with UFC 4 and 5, and you got preset moves, and you can't even choose certain moves at all. You just with a preset moves,
archetypes.
Yeah,
they give you archetypes.
Yeah, and it's the wackest thing ever. To be honest, it's like going 2 steps forward and going like 50 steps back. And
so what do you think the benefit of that is then? Because the only benefit I could say was Well, the only benefit I mentioned was that you could control the environment to try to reduce the amount of exploits. That's the only reason I could see why they would do it.
The way I look at it is like we're not in PS1, we're in PS5, so we should be able to have unlimited amount of options. We shouldn't be very limited in options.
Facts. That's 100% fact.
Because
And
you can't be stuck on
and that
PS1
was
and you can't be stuck on PS2. That's like
yeah.
for instance, WWF Warzone. That's a wrestling game from back in '97. That was on PlayStation and then later on the 64. They introduced creative player.
I played
Yes,
it.
but the thing was, you couldn't choose your own stats. You couldn't choose your own moves. You had to choose the preset moves of Owen Hart or Bret Hart or Undertaker. But then when Attitude came around, the creations got a little bit more extended. Now you could be able to choose your own moves, and you could choose the configuration of the move, how you press it, to make your created fighter really well, you know. And that's why I like that about Attitude. But in Attitude, you can bleed from anywhere. You can bleed under your foot, you can bleed on your kneecap, you can bleed on the back of your head, on your back when getting hit with weapons. And that was a good step up from what Acclaim did. But you know, Acclaim's not really a great publisher or developer, but they did good for that time, and that was a step up, in my opinion.
Yeah. My question is, why don't they just give us what we want, like far as options and stuff? It's like they're acting like that's a hard thing to do. It's not hard to do if you get the right people in there. And then another question, another thing I'm
I'll tell you why
asking
it's
is
hard.
what?
I'll give you a reason why it's hard. And it connects back to the tiers, right? If you notice, anytime you move to a kind of tier system, it's kind of hinting towards that we're going to be bringing you a loot. What do you call it? Hut, Mutt, all these different kind of games where you're what do you call it? Ultimate team games where you're using cards to play the game. So what happens is in order to kind of I guess let's just say to make it a fair game and encourage people to buy these cards and loot boxes, you got to come up with this tier system now. That's why it could possibly be hard to give you the features you want if you're going towards that because that makes money.
Yep, that seemed like why they're going that route. Talking about that.
That makes money.
But my
That's
thing
that's the only logical reason I can see why they would go away from the.
Yeah, my thing is, if Ash sold as many copies as we're known to, what we hear, why don't he be his own publisher of the game? Why don't he pay back the investors so it can fully be his game? It makes sense to me. You might be down a little bit on money, but the game you're on at this point, you can do what you want to do with your game. But he still got the investors giving him money he made over $1 million. He made a lot of money. So he don't need the investors. He don't need the publishers. Do it himself like a lot of games have done. EA, when they first started, a lot of people keep saying, well, that's EA. People think EA came into the game as a $1 billion company. They didn't. They came in with a few developers the same way Steel City is doing. I've been following them for quite a while, and I hate to keep saying it. But, when they came in the game, especially when they made the Knockout Kings, it was only a few developers on that team, and they made complete games. So when people start giving excuses, I'm like, no, I can't accept it. I know how teams work. They're going to tell you what they want you to believe and what they want you to repeat. And that's what people are doing. And I'm like, nah. And another thing, I now remember what I was saying. Why don't they do a show or a round table or whatever, have people like me or had the same wants that I want, and like the people, different people in the community to be at that round table and hear what they want to say, instead of kind of dictating or picking and choosing who's not. I'm not disrespecting none of y'all. I'm just saying in general. Picking and choosing who y'all think not going to really be rowdy. I'm not Beast. Me and Beast, our approach are different, but y'all still afraid, because I think Beast would act a little different than what y'all think if it was a round table, or maybe not. But
Yo, talking about Beast. Talking about Beast. When I asked him this question about when I asked him the question about ratings versus tiers, he gave me the most simple answer, and it makes the most sense. He told me that it comes down to, if you have ratings and you have a guy that's an 82, 84, that's not going to sell. No one's going to buy a 79 rated character or 82, 84. So if you go tiers, it's easier to sell.
But
I to an extent I can agree with that, but I don't think you see the tier or the rating of a fighter anyway. When you make that purchase, I don't think that matters. I think ultimately name sells more than anything. It has to be somebody you really enjoy, just that you want in the game. It doesn't matter what tier Mike Tyson is. If you add Mike Tyson to the game, people gonna buy him.
Yeah. And this is the thing.
But here's the thing. Tyson's you're talking about a phenom. What about the non-phenoms? What about the up and coming boxers? What about them? Those are not Tyson. They don't have Tyson name. Tyson name brand.
You don't buy the fighters individually though. So you add them in the same pack as Mike Tyson. You get them when you buy Mike Tyson. So the tiers really don't matter.
Right, and then plus the whole reason that was brought up when Darkseid asked about like why ratings are like so skewed. Basically, Ash was in simple terms. It was like it really doesn't matter. Like the actual rating doesn't matter, and that pretty much just told me that a lot of these ratings are contractual. So like Jake Paul, for example, I'm pretty sure
I knew he was
like,
I know for sure.
I'm pretty sure he was like, I'm not gonna sign him unless I'm necessarily rated. Or Canelo was like, I can't be lower than this or they team. So that pretty much all that was. And honestly, if they were to remove ratings and just keep it on stats and traits, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't think it needs like a tier, like tier 1, tier 2. You could just have it to where everybody's in the division, look at their stats and traits and see who fits or plays out the most. I don't necessarily think it needs tiers, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
But if they get rid of stuff like that, people gonna always look at it as being an arcade game. They're gonna say, why is so many things? That's gonna be a huge complaint. People gonna say, why are you stripping the game down again? Why are you stripping so many things away from the game?
But but on the flip side, though, you got people saying, why Jake Paul the same rating as this person? Why he the same rating as Ricky Hatton?
Yeah, but that's the team.
I think that's how you get rid of that problem, though. I think that's how you get rid of that problem. I think when he said tier list, I think he was primarily talking about online, like an online system. So if you use a lower tier character, you get more.
Yeah, I'm all right, because
that's like, but then that's like bucket list, and within that bucket list, are we going to see the ratings within the bucket list, or we're going to see these are A, B, and C fighters?
That's a good point.
Right.
Good point.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, my thing is they trying to sell DLC. The boxers don't, and this another thing I want y'all to address this. They saying, well, if we change one boxer, it's going to break the next boxer. If we do this, it's going to make this mess up. Y'all don't have the right developer, because I got information, and I got it on my blog too. If you have the game built the right way, when you good example, NBA 2K, when you change one basketball player, it don't mess up the game, and we could do it manually. It don't mess up the game, so that's on the team. That's on the developers.
But that goes back to the point they indirectly basically said, like, we see what y'all see. That's what I'm talking about. You go into that office on Monday, you know you're about to get replaced in a month. That's exactly what I'm talking. I think everybody knows at this point. Like, I want to say it's coming to an end, Undisputed, because I don't know what they're about to do with it. But I think everybody knows like that shift is about to happen with the
Yo, I
with the
think
new
I'm gonna have
team.
a party too. No, I ain't gonna lie.
Because if you really look at who they're hiring, it's a complete outside of like marketing and community managers. Everybody else,
Yup.
it's gonna be a whole new team. It's gonna be an
Yup.
entirely new team.
Hold up. When you say a whole new team, is that is Will in jeopardy?
With Will, I don't really count him as like a developer. So from what he explained, what his job description is, I thought fighter authenticity meant like he was over. Like it's basically a fancy way of saying he's in charge of like the likeness of a fighter to make sure they look right, they have the right attire, the gameplay animations, that type of thing. That's what that title is. That basically, in simple terms, that's how he explained what that title was.
Yeah,
Who would be in charge of the gameplay then? The game, like the style of gameplay.
I forgot the guy. He looks exactly like Will. He's bald. He's bald. Literally bald with a beard. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, though, right, Paul?
Yeah, I know. It looks just like him.
Yeah, you know who.
Because they was trying to ban me for it. I said, hold up, no, you can't say that's Will. Because there's another guy. Even Will said it when he came in the Discord. He said, hey, that could have been the other guy. He was trying to take up me in a way.
But yo, going back to the ratings, I thought the ratings was it had some kind of system where it aggregate all the stats and then give you a final rating.
Yeah.
No. So there's some fighters in the game specifically you can look at. If you break their ratings down, you'll see they are night and day different, but the overall is the same.
Oh yeah, because if I'm building a cat in career mode, right? You could see as you apply, you know what I mean, you see the rating go up and down depending what you do with them. So I figured
people don't understand that should have been explained more, because ratings, you can have somebody that's like, let's say 92, but if you go through their main ratings and stuff, attributes and stuff, it doesn't add up. Like he could be fast in this, and he could be he could have a high rating in speed and a low rating in something else, and it adds up to something different. It depends on.
You go look at Deontay Wilder stats right now. He's not an 88 overall. Like you just go purely off of his stats in your mind, just like a rough estimate. You wouldn't say he's an 88 overall. That's why I say a lot of those ratings are like contractual. It's just there to be. It's a placeholder. It's just there to be there.
I think Freddie G put me on to one of them. I forget what it was. Might have been Jacobs or Frog, but the differences between them were so crazy. And it's like, yo, how is Jacobs 2 levels lower rating wise? But all his stats are better. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He had when I did the math, he had like a +9 in terms of like overall stats over Frog, but he was a lower rating overall. So that told me that those have little to do with the actual rating.
Yeah, because I imagine they had Danny Jacobs rated.
But my thing is, when Jake Paul was added to the game, did it really move the needle?
No, that's a good question.
In terms of
actually
making the game have major sales and stuff, it didn't really move the needle, not at all.
That's actually that's why I want
a lot of casuals know Jake Paul's name more than Roy Jones.
It didn't move the needle that much, if at all. Do the research. I did a research on it, but I'd rather for people to do their own research because they might say I'm biased.
I don't think so. Because I look at when DLC drops, obviously everyone gets an increase in views and whatnot. I would honestly say this past DLC, like in terms of views, has been like the best one in my opinion. Like across the board, like looking at everybody's this DLC has been easily the best one.
Just
in
because
terms of like
metrics,
Emmanuel Augustus. Yeah. So I don't at this point. I think the day and age, especially for such a niche genre, the day and age of just name value, I think that's over. Unless you like a Mike Tyson or like a Floyd, but like people want more out of just the name. So like if Mike Tyson comes, it's like, yeah, it's Mike Tyson, but do he have the Dempsey roll? Do he punch this way? Do he punch that way?
He gotta be Mike Tyson. That sells DLC. That's what sell the DLC.
If I had to guess, I would say this last one probably did the best. This past one, it 100% did the best.
I just hate that with David Benavidez when they had him on his thing, that he didn't have the quick punches like he do in real life. His hand speed. And that could have been like an animation itself. I'm all right with that. You know, a lot of people are all right with that. So it was like certain things you gotta, if you want to sell, especially if you have the animations right, you could sell the boxes individually and people will buy them. They will buy these boxes by themselves. You ain't gotta lump them together. But fans' thing is, you're giving us all these boxes and all of them fight alike. They just skins and stuff. That's what a lot of fans complain is. That's why I say they should do a survey and ask these questions.
I feel like Camacho didn't get done right neither.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody even talk about him. Nobody even talk about Camacho. And he used to be
Camacho one of my favorites too.
Yeah. And he used to be a huge conversations, like even on the EA forums, Camacho. People talk about Camacho, and I hate that Roy Jones did his own motion caps at his age. But that's when the animators come in and clean it up. But they didn't.
Poe, gore and gambling. So Undisputed did scale back the amount of gore because of you're not supposed to glorify violence, right?
That's personal.
There's something that's personal, or there's articles out there where they discuss that because it could change your rating of your game or whatever you're trying to sell the game to, right? But the thing is this, so let's just say that's what they did, well, based on what they were discussing. But this, going back to the whole tier system, does anybody think that Undisputed thing for the first? Well, here's the thing: in the first time in the history of boxing, there's never been a boxing game where they have pay to win. Do you guys feel that Undisputed, if we're going Undisputed 2, this is the direction we're going? Even just the whole idea with the tier system again, and pay to win. There's two examples of pay to win, eh? There's two examples. If we go NBA 2K, they're the Godfather right now. Like they know how to make it. Right. Basically, the cabs or the creator player, they have people addicted right now where they're paying for 6 characters. Every character is gonna probably run you, I don't know, man, over $120 US, up to 200 US, I think. But you're buying all these cabs in order to kind of maybe exploit the game, you know what I mean? But you have people so addicted to that. Or the other model is you have like Madden or the hockey games where you're buying the cards and you're trying to get the top, the most, you're buying all these packs of cards so you can get the highest rated characters and go online, win the game, rule the leaderboards. But this whole going back to tiers, does this kind of signal that if we're going to Undisputed 2, this is what we're going to expect?
So I don't.
In the history of boxing games, has never been done.
Yeah, the reason I don't think it's pay to win is because if for it to be pay to win, you'd have to. That implies that the people you add will become meta, and that's not. You know what I mean? As long as the game takes the proper trajectory with being a competitive game, then you're gonna win in the right hands anyway. Pay to win would imply that the person you buy is the next person in the game, and that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, well, but when you say that meta, you mean that I'm building a character in order to exploit the game?
Like for example, if you take the game right now,
like NBA 2K,
the meta picks in every weight class were already in the game at launch. Nobody you bought became meta. You see what I'm saying? That would be pay to win. If I bought,
no, but that's stock characters you're talking about.
Yeah, those are still your meta picks.
Okay. So I'm trying to compare it to NBA 2K, where you build your my career player.
That's very different, only because
right.
To a degree, Fight Night Champion was pay to win. That was a boxing game that was pay to win. Yeah. So in Fight Night Champion, when you got online for online world championship, you could buy perks for your online world championship fighter, and you could boost him. And people who grinded stats would lose to people who bought his stats. You see what I'm saying?
No. Here's the thing. Now you know why Fight Night Champion wasn't. Okay, you're right. It was pay to win because you could buy the
Yes,
What do you call it?
You
You
didn't
could buy
have
your
to
traits.
level your guy up. You could buy
Yeah,
it just like you can in
yeah.
EA.
You could buy your XP and everything. But here's the biggest difference. If I was the once you buy all these points, right, and I put them on my character,
Yeah.
if I delete my character, I get back all the points, so I can build my character again, meaning that I don't have to buy a second cap, a third cap, a fourth,
100% get that, but it's still an additional
sixth.
purchase on top of the game that you paid to win. Literally, that's what it is. You paid to win. That's not undisputed.
You're paying to win, but I can get my points back. So yeah, right, yeah. But it's a way different ballgame. If Fight Night Champion,
you're never gonna have.
If Fight Night Champion was the dude like NBA 2K, if Fight Night Champion was the dude like NBA 2K, they'll be making a lot of money.
They probably would.
Way different.
100% they would. 100% they would. Don't give them no ideas, bro. Don't give them no ideas.
no. What I don't have to. It's history. Remember, if we're talking about guys like Will, who came from EA, all that stuff's being talked about already. They're bringing that culture. They're gonna bring that culture to a small little indie company.
I see it because Will, because I keep saying this, and a lot of people don't understand what I'm saying. Why, if you see the hires that they got, all of them used to be EA developers, or they were associated with EA, but 2K has all these other companies with major veterans they never hired. I had people that's like this combat, that makes sense. Combat engineer. He's a developer. Wouldn't he make more sense to put on your team? But they don't have a combat engineer on their team. And it was like, why are they hiring? Ash literally said it numerous times. He said he was like going against EA. Now all of a sudden, EA is his friend. I wish I could get them conversations because we did it on a Zoom call.
But
at this time,
Poe,
yeah,
is there?
But Poe, remember I was saying we were talking about gore, and they got rid of the gore for the reason that you glorify violence, right?
Yeah.
If you go the other end with this, where you're paying to win, that actually has there's studies that has a lot to do with gambling.
Yeah.
And if you're marketing the game towards youth, well, pick your poison then, man. It seems kind of hypocritical that you don't give the realism of boxing to the violence of boxing, but you're setting up the game to go towards pay to win, which is just encouraging kids to gamble.
Yeah, because with the gore part, I looked it up, and anybody can look it up. It has nothing to do with what they're saying. He's putting big names and everything on it. Yeah, the BBC said we can't do it. That was his personal. You can look it up. I actually, in my blog, it points, it like have receipts. That was on Ash and the team, because you can have gore in the game if it's realistic to the boxing. Now, if you want that arcade fan base, or you want, even though you can have gore in arcade games, but you trying to kid that's somebody young, which they're not going to stay on the game. Casual fans don't stay on the game that long. So now you're pushing, like I said, somebody mic is acting up. Pushing out a fan base that will sustain the game for the longest time. They're like the hardcore and the so-called film fans. They don't matter. That's what I got. That they don't matter. We don't care about y'all old heads or y'all boxing fans or whatever. We're looking for those casuals. But Intolerable, or no, I'm cold-blooded, he could vouch for me. We had these conversations in the EA forums. I said a boxing game could make a hardcore fan out of a casual. And check out what used to happen. People used to start doing their research on boxing. They used to be like, yo, Paul, what you know about this boxer? That made a hardcore fan out of casual. They start doing research. But we don't have them conversations in the Discord. They silence the people in the Discord that talk boxing. And I'm like, yo, we're here to help you along. We're like trying to help you see what boxing is. But then you got them people in the fans like, nah, I mean, in the Discord, we don't want to hear that junk. They like want to hear about the casual side of the game.
Yep.
That's the difference. Even though me, I'm a big I'm a hater of EA. The EA forums, we were making boxing fans out of the casuals. It's a lot of people be like, hey, Poe, I remember you. You made me a boxing fan. Or people be like, yo, Poe, we're still friends, and they're boxing fans. They was casual. And that's money to me. That's money that companies could get. If you just focus on the casuals, your game is not going to really make that much money. It's just going to be a one and done. It's going to be like they're going to buy it, and they're going to play it for probably a couple of months, and that's it. Then all the deals, all the boxes that you paid to be in your game, they're worthless now to you, but you still got to pay them. So you got a contract signed.
But yo, Poe, you know what? That whole going back to the whole the realism with the violence and everything and the gore, I think possibly too it's a old. These are like these old policies from back in the day, like what do you call it? Anti-violence against policies against women and whatever kind of thing. And at that time, if you think about it, being able to take a video game that could simulate it and people do it on the video game and make content from it, you know what I mean? This is one of the reasons I think that why they don't want to have it. But here's the thing: it's an outdated idea because with AI now, you don't need to use a video game. You could use AI and do what the hell you want now. Any AI, all the good AI out there, you can make any kind of violent imagery you want for your contents. So the thing is now, to me, it's almost like what's the excuse now that okay, you don't want the realism in boxing?
Yeah, because even in real boxing,
there's better technology out there now.
Yeah. When these boxing matches come on, they don't say it may contain violence. They don't say that. Why you don't say that? So that right there, that goes out the window. That excuse goes right out the window. You know a lot of young kids looking at boxing matches. You know a lot of kids saw when Dad, I forget his name, had his head all busted open and bleeding and stuff. You see all these graphic things on the thing. When they seen the guy punching that air and he died. They seeing these things. I'm like, y'all making excuses like we don't see
it. Glorification of violence would be the most extreme version. Like, let's just say I go to MMA and you saw when Anderson Silva broke his leg. Like, obviously, you're not going to put that level of violence in the game because you often you see that. You know what I mean? Yeah. In boxing, what would it be? What would have been one of the most violent, one of the most gruesome things we've seen in the last 20 years?
Nothing. Even breaking ribs. Why you don't got breaking ribs in the fight? Remember that game where you could see when you punch somebody and their ribs broken? That would have been a great idea to put in the game. Fracture somebody's jaw. That would have been a great idea. You see the X-ray of the boxer. See, I got a billion to do.
But that's the thing. That's the big argument now. The argument be, is that considered okay? We're glorifying it, or is it something that should only happen? Let's just say if you catch somebody breaking the jaw, it has to be some circumstances, and it doesn't happen all the time. If you're trying to program that into the gameplay.
Yeah,
well, sorry. I was gonna say something about that. I'm sorry to interject. When you guys mentioned the broken limbs stuff on the video game, the only time that I've seen it like being implemented like exclusively was like in Fight Night Champions on story mode and the story mode for the UFC series. That's the only time that it's implemented. It's like exclusive for that.
And older games. It was an older game that showed every time you hit the person, you see a breakage on their body. Like older games, but I'm like, What are y'all talking about now?
Hey,
Like
you know what
a lot of things. All right, go ahead.
Hey, you know what you'll never see? Up to now in the UFC fighting games, they have never had the level of realism as Undisputed 3 back in the PS3 and Xbox generation.
Oh
That one
man,
when you
the
knock the guy
undisputed series
when you
of
knock the
UFC.
guy
Woo!
yeah, when you knock the guy out and he's on his back unconscious, you could come up on him and hit him 4 times, and then the
Or
ref will
more.
come and stop it. Yeah, that has done. They have never brought that, but that would be an example that okay, and it's subjective. It would be so subjective to I guess who you showcase it to. Is that considered glorification of violence, or is that the act that's in the game? Because that's actually that happens in a lot of UFC fights. That whole part, guy's knocked out already, and and the guy comes to finish him.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that
EA
scene
doesn't want
pretty
to do it.
clearly. Yeah,
Mhm.
because the thing was, when UFC Undisputed Series was being done, it was being done by THQ and Ukes. When THQ went under,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion, I felt like Ukes should have took it over completely because they could have
Yeah.
published and developed the game themselves instead of EA taking it over and getting the rights to the license. In my humble opinion, I felt like Ukes should have just rocked with it, or that one developer that did the best MMA game of all time, in my opinion, which is Pride FC on PS2. Because in my opinion, they got everybody's style spot on. How the way they walk, how the way they dash, how the way they back walk, and how the way they set up combos and stuff. And you know, I felt like that game was the best of all time to me, even though it was
All time.
a little bit wacky with the knockouts. But one particular flaw that that game had, Pride FC, everybody was a southpaw.
Yeah. My thing is that it's just so much missing, and nobody's like really saying that much. And my thing that I want to say to like guys like JMMA, the content creators, push for them to put out a survey, even if it's
Exactly.
between guys like me and and the content creators and the most outspoken people, if they want to do it that way. Um, do a survey. But I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if they want something, a marketing thing, they want something that's marketing to keep the game alive. They should do that. They should put that survey out. All right, y'all go ahead. I got a phone call.
No, 100%. They should do
Yeah,
something like that.
100%. That, like, one thing I would like the content creators to do, because they are very active with the game and they get a lot of people to get into the game, is like what Post said, do the survey, but they should also do the survey with our wish list to all the people out there, and you'll see that many people will want to vote for our wish list and my ultimate creative fighter mode as well, because creative fighter is freaking lagging in undisputed like bad, and everything's like limited. It's like bare bones, and it's the same thing like the demo, and it's not nothing great in the final game. And I feel like there's a lot of things that's missing with undisputed. They definitely do need to tighten up on a lot of things, and they need to get a lot of people's styles right, in my humble opinion.
For a AAA pricing game, a game that was priced AAA,
Yeah,
this game
that
hardly
too.
has any modes. I'll tell you that, man. It's like they really.
100%. That was
Exactly.
crazy. And if you want to compare something, and a lot of people was talking about Love C Shorty overpricing this game, Steel City overpriced their game. They literally overpriced the game. It wasn't a complete game. You
Exactly.
overpriced it. I know I'm talking junk because I got a free game, but I bought 3 games to give away. So that knocks that out the box. So I'm like, yo, what you think, Intouchable, about the
No,
pricing?
I agree with you on the pricing. It was definitely, it dropped as like a AAA price. I remember when it was still in early access. Everything kind of went cold turkey for a little bit, and then they disappeared for like a year, and then boom, in October release they drop it. I was like, whoa, hold on now. Y'all gotta show me what y'all did different, because if this is anything like early access, this ain't ready yet. I'm not paying 70 or whatever for that. That's crazy. But go figure. I ended up paying exactly that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just comes down to necessity, right? We all really want a boxing game, and they knew that.
Yeah.
So you drop a boxing game, we're gonna buy it.
Some of us.
Yeah, some of us.
For real.
Yeah.
Like, I bought
another
multiple
thing
times.
that
I got on all platforms.
Yeah. Another thing that I peeped out.
Yo, I was.
All right. Another thing
I was gonna say.
Hold up. Another thing I'm trying to point out was that developers, I mean, not developers, that when they go to these events and you look at the boxers playing the game, they're not excited. Now, when I was watching boxers playing Fight Night Round 4, they were excited. That right there says a lot. Because they're not real. It's even if they're not gamers, if they see themselves represented accurately, I think the excitement goes up higher. Y'all thoughts?
Facts. They definitely do need to be represented accurately, all the fighters in the game, because I don't feel like there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of people that just have skins and it's just a copy and paste style, pretty much, for a lot of fighters in the game.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Even in early access, there's a lot of dudes who had their likeness that's no longer there anymore. Like Fury had his 100% likeness. Usyk had different things. Carl Froch had his punch animations and everything else. All that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that went back to the physics as well. The fact that a lot of those punch animations were physics based, they can them to something generic because it created desync.
Yeah, my thing I was getting upset about when they had the fighting, the inside fighting, and they strayed from that because they didn't work on it. And this something that was
fighting was money.
Yeah,
money.
And this was taught to me. Yup, they was like one of the EA devs. I'm not going to say his name, even though I said it earlier. I'm not going to say his name. He said they got inside fighting down pat. It just needs some tweaks, but it's down pat. They got it. And then they said they was having trouble and stuff like that, but you didn't stay on it that long. It's like y'all just worked on it a little bit. It looked good. We're going to show this and let them know this is what we got in the game. Then it's like y'all left it alone. They say, no, it don't work, so we ain't got it in the game. The referee in the ring. They saying, oh, the referee. A lot of that stuff is by design. It's not because you can't do it. It's by design. You look it up. Why don't they have a referee in the ring? And it'll tell you straight up because they want the game flow to go more. They want everything. They don't want a referee just standing there breaking and stuff like that. They want it, because referee, people don't understand. That's what I be trying to explain to people. Referee mean more in a boxing ring than you think. Referee shortens the ring. When people want to run around, the referee still making the ring shorter. Then they don't have cutting off the ring in the game. That would have stopped a lot of that running. They don't have a lot of things in clinching. That stopped running and it stopped spam. See, these are things people are not talking about. They're not talking about a lot of things that slows down and stop, things in the game that they're complaining about. AJ, you got something you want to say?
One thing about clinching, if I just compare to Undisputed, I don't know if that would slow down running, only because that unless you're trying to grab him so he doesn't get away from you, kind of thing. Because usually when you're clinching, you're kind of boxing inside.
It might not slow down running to it. It's weird, bro. So I'm real just heavy on the ebb and flow of like capturing a boxing match. Like I feel like if somebody's running and they are actually like really good at using lateral movement, they should get a reward for it. Versus if somebody's really good at the ring off, they should get board for it. But as the game stands right now, it's really difficult to do that, even if you know the ins and outs on how to slice the ring. But again, that's also something that, believe it or not, comes back to desyncs. I did a video on this previously. So there's angles in the game. So before pre-release and early access, if you were within a straight line of your opponent, you got like a speed boost. You literally would hit forward and you would get like a speed boost. You could move forward faster than he could move backwards if you stayed in your base stance. So if he went into loose movement and you stayed in your base stance, you literally could move forward faster than he could move back. I did multiple tests on it. I labbed it. I put a video out on it. For whatever reason, that isn't in the game anymore. It turns out it actually is in the game. When you play offline, it's there. So the reason you can't feel it online is because online is in a perpetual state of desync the moment somebody goes into loose movement. So there is an axis that your fighters are on. You guys are constantly going to look at each other, no matter where you are in the ring. The moment you go into loose movement, you break the axis. When you break the axis, punches, you can now go around your opponent's punches and so on and so forth. In order to stop him from doing that, the physics-based engine queues up. So when you throw a left hook when you're not supposed to because somebody's on the outside, it will try to drag the arm, make a janky animation, and have you hit the guy. That's creating desync. The other time you lose access is when you're rocked. So the reason you can hardly hit anybody when they're hurt is because they're off the axis when they go into that rock state. That's all just desync. It's literally just desync.
Okay. So we're talking about hold on. So a lot of stuff you said there, right? But if you go to the last part, you're talking about the stun state. When I say stun, when you're when you have the guy and the adrenaline meter pumps up now, right?
Equivalent of going into loose movement where you're off the axis. You're off of that axis.
So you're saying right now the reason why we can't really run the guy down is because of desync, or why it's harder to knock him out?
Because he's off the axis, he gets the exact same benefits he would get if he were in loose movement. It's just like trying to hit somebody in loose movement.
Okay. One thing I'll say is that, like, since version 1.5, it feels better off. Instead of using a set of power punches to finish them off, it just feels throw a set of regular punches now and try to throw combinations. That seems to break the guard down.
So I'm not sure about the guard versions per se. I just think it's a little more jankier now with counters. So like they don't put this stuff in patch notes, but they catch and shoot back. So now if you get a perfect block, you can respond immediately and get a counter. They don't put that in patch notes. They don't let you know, oh, we added the ability to counter immediately on a block. They don't tell you that. But there's a lot of shit that they keep adding back to the game that they expect you to figure out on your own.
Okay. But yo, did you see in Bloody Knuckle? I don't know if it's the recent update. They introduced that where you could run a guy down.
Run a guy down. I saw that. Yeah. I watched that whole video the other day.
Yeah. That was in
the early version of ESBC. You could
actually
move faster.
Was it?
You can move faster.
Yeah,
100%. I was just saying that. Yep.
100%. You're kidding me.
That was there.
I gotta go look that up. I can't believe that.
Nah, bro. Listen to me.
Even in the video,
you couldn't really run like that, bro. You could run somebody down, and then when they removed the whole ability to pretty much sprint to a guy, like I said, if you were within 90 degrees of him, if you lined him up and hit forward, you got a speed boost. You could always stay on him. They removed that, bro.
Whoa. I can't see why. Why would you take that out? This is my biggest issue right now with the fucking game. They already had it.
They're gonna say this thing. What? Why the guy ain't drink the water right? This thing.
They don't even have the 3 movement types no more. Like you could do the slow walks into the regular speed into loose movement.
Yeah.
Now, on the majority of dudes, you can't even slow walk no more, bro.
Yeah. Yup. Exactly. And my thing is it was real limited because I was telling them, because they was talking about foot styles and stuff, because they got the loose foot movement and the walking a person down. But do they have the Sugar Ray Robinson skip step? You know, a lot of boxers have that skip step.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see who else. It's a lot of boxers because that was one of my things that I learned from when I used to go to Philly to spar, and my brother and my uncle. They knew George Benton and all of them. So they taught us the skip step. It closes the distance without your opponent actually knowing it. Yeah, it's like that's a great thing they should have added, but they, that's why I say Coach Anthony, if he's in the game, I mean, is he going to be on the team? That would be a good addition.
Yo,
Yeah,
let me ask you this. Going back to that whole thing about the I think we were saying just now that the fighters don't fight like themselves. Like who are the fighter is. Like they have their punch sets, they have their likeness, everything, but they don't fight. Is that what you guys were saying before? Like they don't fight like themselves?
yeah, they don't fight like themselves. Even if you're controlling them,
Okay.
it's still little things that the boxer
Hmm.
still does. Even if you're controlling him,
So
his movement, his
so here
stance, or whatever, it doesn't look,
so,
like the boxer.
so here's the thing. You ever played a VR boxing? And when you play the
VR
VR boxing and you watch how people box in the game or what their ability is, it's basically looks just it like you could have whoever the character is, right? But it resembles you. It's exactly
Yeah,
how you fight. Like that's the funniest thing. We go on YouTube, you see people how they VR box. You'll see exactly how they box. Even though I know the VR, you can refine it better. Eventually, as we refine, it'll get more accurate. But it gives you a kind of
yeah,
a representation. So that's in a VR world. Now we're coming in I guess a 3D/2D game, right? Are we seeing that same? Is that the same thing that's happening? That kind of defeats the purpose of having the punch, all the different the punch animations and the
yeah,
how the movement just for that specific character.
yeah. But my thing is a good example of what I'm trying to say is NBA 2K. Even though you're controlling the basketball player, he still have his move sets. He still, do things that he can do. Then he's not gonna do what he can't really do. He's not good at. That's the example I'm trying to use. And whoever play do you play 2K Intalkable?
Yeah, I play 2K, bro. Yes, sir.
So do you agree with me or I'm a
100%.
little
I agree with you.
far?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's what when they be trying to. I hate to say make the excuse, but it's an excuse because even they said, and I hate that they said that. I hate it and I liked it at the same time. When they say a lot of the developers that came on the team, they didn't know anything about development. I don't know
It
if they were
shows.
supposed to say
It
it like that.
shows. There's a lot of incompetence there. It shows. Like you could just tell you got like a new group of guys sometimes. Like just certain aspects of the game is like I can't tell if y'all dropped the ball or if y'all just didn't know what the hell y'all was doing.
Freddie G saying 2K is not a very good game. If you're saying the microtransactions, that ain't the conversation. Because every time I talk about 2K, somebody always bring up the microtransactions or the play to win. That ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. 2K does a lot of great things. The gameplay it does a lot of things right. To me, when you say 2K is not a very good game, it's like you're trying to deflect what I'm talking about. Maybe you're not, but that's what I'm getting from what you're saying. Um, and talk about I'm cold blooded. Know what I'm talking about. But see, then it goes back to you saying no gameplay wise. Do you agree, and talk about that the gameplay is not that good?
Or what, 2K?
Yeah,
I think the gameplay solid in 2K. I think it used to be better,
exactly.
but it's still
Everybody,
not.
I see.
Yeah, it's not what it was, but it's still nice though.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, and when Ash was saying what he was saying, and when I was saying what I said, I was talking about when 2K was like when it knocked EA out the box. That's what we're going by when we say we want. I
But
mean, when Ash
I
said,
see where Freddie coming from though, because he's like he said he hoop, so he's going to critique 2K the same way we going to critique a boxing game. So you know what I mean?
I said, okay. So, but Freddie, why are you so over the top going against some of the stuff I be saying as a boxer? But then when I say something that go against, I mean, basketball wise, now you going, nah, but You gotta keep it even, man. But you got a lot of people like Brian Mazik. He's a hooper. You know, he likes the game. So I'm going off of that and some of the
Yo,
videos
I could see what Freddie's saying. Like when I was earlier when I was talking, we're talking about the bloody knuckles, right? And that's really a boxing simulator, and that's true. NBA 2K is not a boxing simulator. I'm sorry, it's not a basketball simulator. If I was looking in the same lens of like a bloody knuckles, it's very true. It doesn't. You don't move like that. You simply don't move like that. Like how are we moving NBA 2K? You don't move like that.
Yeah, but it got more realism than what Undisputed is, as far as representation. Yeah, Brian Mazik, that's my guy. I know him from we got the time in. That's all we used to talk about. Him and I don't know if you know Dazar. That's my guy. Yeah,
Yo,
so
Poe, I'm gonna take off.
All right, we all about to take off. Intocable, you want to leave us with something?
Oh nah, bro, it's your show. I just I'm gonna drop something in the next 24 hours for sure, though, to hopefully get some clarity on the desync topic. I'm also put up my question that I had to ask in terms of the blocking and all that. Y'all might get a kick out of his reaction to that. In fact, I know y'all gonna get a kick out of that. Like the dude was stumped. It's the first time I saw him not give a long-winded response. But yeah, just keep on the lookout for that. Hopefully, it creates some type of clarity on the issue. Really, I think the video is more so for Steel City than it is for us, because I want Steel City to know that now we know the issue, and I'm giving y'all I'm giving y'all the stars. I'm telling y'all how to fix it. So if they don't fix it from there, that's on them. You know what I
mean? Okay. See, that's what I like. That's what I like when you go there and then you come back with something.
Yep.
That sound like old school stuff. That's
yes,
sound
sir.
like
yes, sir.
Yeah, when we came back, we was like fully loaded. When we went to Fight Night Round 4, remember when? Yeah, this is what I want to talk about. Remember when I came back? I said, "Yo, they took the buttons out the game.
The buttons out the game
ain't gonna sell well." I said the game ain't gonna sell. What happened for like 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks? They said we got to put the sticks. I mean, we got to put the buttons back in the game.
Brought them right back. It was straight total punch.
What I be talking. Because I came back telling everything. I said, yo, they doing this, they doing that. I said, yo, this game ain't gonna do well. And them sales dropped. Sales dropped drastically. And they had to bring it back.
Yeah, people ain't like that.
You know, I appreciate you for coming through. Maybe we can have you on some more times. I want to see how you and Beast mesh together for his conversation.
I was low key hoping he was gonna hop in, bro. No, I think we're gonna be solid, bro. I think it's funny because we share the same sentiments. It's just that we just present our argument very differently.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
I get it. Beast is an alpha. He don't want nobody. But here's the thing. I share that same energy too. So like it's really hard to knock either one of us off our pedestal. So we gotta come to like a central ground.
Agree.
He has to understand that the central ground is that we agree. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that needs to matter. We agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate you. All right. AJ Pax, appreciate you. Dad, I gotta get my walk in. I gotta get my walk in before it get dark. So I gotta get my walk in. All right, I appreciate y'all. This is the end of the show. I love that y'all came through. Y'all came in great numbers. 88. So, all right, thank you, Intocable, man.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad that I got the clarity that you're Intocable. And you gotta push for my man, Intocable. You gotta push for him. Yeah. So to the next show and to the next time, man. Peace.